driving me crazy just looking at it. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand.
Right, hello everybody. I think that one, don't know what just happened on there. That just went a bit wrong, and I think someone pressed the wrong button.
Driving me crazy just looking at it. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. It's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. It's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. Without you, driving me crazy just looking at it. Driving me crazy just looking at it. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. It's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. You do this thing when I'm talking to you, like everything freezes and it's just you. You do this thing when I'm talking to you, like everything freezes and it's just you. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. It's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. Give it to me like world without you. Just looking at it. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. Driving me crazy just looking at it. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. It's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live without you.
Right, good afternoon everybody. Hope everyone's good. Sorry about that at the start. That was just my fault pressing the wrong button. It happens. But anyway, hope everyone's doing well. Back on my feet again. And I had to come back on to start doing this North London derby. Then after that, take a little bit more time off and I'll be fine, depending on the results. But I couldn't miss this. I suppose everyone's waiting for it. Where's this going to go? I mean, the injuries are definitely looking in our favour. We've got our own couple of them, but it's definitely in our advantage. No two ways about it. So I'm going to say hello to a couple of people on the side quickly, get the other people on here, and then we can get into doing this. Right, Mark Cook, afternoon, Dan, chat and guests. How you doing, mate? Hope everything's good for you. Mike, my Liverpool supporter of a friend. Yes, he is, even though he's a Liverpool supporter. Hope you're doing well, mate. Eugene, hi, big up everyone. Levy out, as always. Big up to you too, mate. Tony, big up Dan in the chat. Ange out, Levy out. Hope everything's good, Tony. And Tom, big up Dan in chat. Hope you're well, Dan. Yep, getting back with everything, mate. Thank you. And Dietrich, my friend, how are we doing? Hope you and your family are well. Same for you, fella. And Tony, smash that like and subscribe, please. Thank you very much. Ryan, and big up Dan in chat. Brian, how are we doing, my friend? Hope everything's good for you. Hope you're doing well. If you want to jump on, do let me know. Send you a link. It's not a problem. And Rich, big up Dan in chat. Big up to you too, mate. Mark, Dan, legend. Thank you. I wouldn't quite say a legend, not in this, but legend in other ways. Probably not a good way, but either way, it's appreciated. Thank you. And Ben, hi Dan, beginning of the end. Beginnings on Sunday. Let's hope so. And Jimmy, big up Dan and chat, big up to you too. And Tony saying hello to Brian and Dixon. Good to see you, Dan. Good to see you. I can be for 15 minutes. So what I will do very quickly, if people give me a minute, there you go, Brian. The link is over to you there, mate. Jump on as you wish. And also, Dietrich, okay, mate, I'll send you the link as well, and then we can get this going properly. But I've already been told I'm not allowed for this to go on for hours. I've got a certain amount of time. Otherwise, I've been threatened that somebody will just walk into the room and turn my computer off. The life of being a husband. But either way. And Mark Taylor, anyone know if Mickey is injured on Sunday? That is one thing we're definitely going to get to. And big up to you too, mate. And no, big up Dan. I could be a mod if you want, and I'm one on Sabba's one. Okay, I will sort that out in a minute because I have to go to YouTube to do that if I remember right. And Tony's saying no, not Dietrich. And Ben Foster saying I've actually stopped supporting Spurs, but I'm interested in the game on Sunday. Oh, come on, man. It can't be that bad, surely. And there is the wife with a curfew. Yes, don't I fucking know it. So, here are the guests coming in now. My mate Dave, Stel, Brian, and Dietrich. How are we all doing?
I'm good. How are you? How's everyone doing?
All good, all good. Like I said, I've literally got 15 mins before I need to go get ready for evening brews. So wanted to come and say hello to you and welcome back, and everyone in the chat and everyone on the screen.
Okay, so what I'll do to you then, as soon as you ain't got much time, I will come to you then, Brian, so you can say your piece, whatever you need to see. Go for it.
Just David Pleet and his blue and white army. Is all I've been saying recently and will continue to say. Mate, it's not even worth talking North London derby with it. I am so pissed off with this. I am so pissed off with this. I pick my battles now, and this is a battle that I'm going for. Yeah, listen, the NLD comes but twice a year, and let's just hope that our injuries aren't as bad as feared. And I think the main one is Bissouma, isn't it? I mean, Solanke and Van der Ven will find out, but the fresh one is Bissouma. And we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. But as I said, most importantly, David Pleet and his blue and white army.
Yeah, I mean, I read about that one with David Pleet and everything, and I must admit, wasn't impressed in the slightest, but I can't say I was actually surprised in the slightest. It was just tell me something that there was no surprise in it, and that's quite embarrassing, really, to feel like that. So there's going to be a few people who don't actually know then. So, Brian, what has actually happened there?
Well, David Pleet has brought out his memoirs, and what his wife tragically passed away a few years ago through motor neurons disease, which is a awful disease. One of my mates' dads lost their fight to that. I've seen what it does firsthand. It is awful. Anyway, he wanted to put it in the club shop or have an official launch. When it comes to the official launch, Daniel Levy said he'll get back to him. Never did. And when it came to putting it in the shop, they can't because it's not via Tottenham's official publisher. And I've gone mad over this, and I don't care. I've said it before. People can disagree with, is Daniel Levy brilliant for this football club, as in on the footballing side? Me, Stel, obviously, Dietrich, and other people, and yourself, Dan, feel very, very passionately that he's not. Personal choice. If you think it is, fine. You think that, I'll carry on thinking what I am. Fine. You can think Daniel Levy as a businessman is fantastic for this football club. Commercially, I'll probably agree. When it resonates business on the pitch, I certainly don't. Again, that's a personal choice. And each to their own. This is on a goddamn human level. Forget football. Forget business. This is pure. A guy has given 4 decades worth of service. Can I put my book in there to raise money for charities to help prevent this awful disease? No, because of our official publisher. And I'm willing to bet that the official publisher will probably say, do you know what? This is for a good cause. This isn't a rival. Let's do it. And the fact that there's still people, when I put this out there going, oh, well, he got done for curb crawling. Okay, fine. Okay. They're literally, because they want to defend this bastard, they come to leave. Oh, well, yeah, well, we didn't win any trophies for the club. What's that got to do with raising money for a charity to prevent an awful... It's just, I've lost my crap with this. As I said, I pick my battles and I pick them wisely now. And Daniel Levy, you're a despicable human being, a shit chairman, and leave this football club. I am fuming with this, and this is purely from the human side. If things go wonky in the North London derby, do not turn your attention to Ange. Everyone, for the love of God, start singing David Pleet and his Blue and White Army and direct every single bit of anger at that cock that sits on the halfway line in the West Stand, because he's an absolute demon and a vile human being. There you go. I've got that off my chest. Thank God.
I thought you were gonna go slow this year.
It's human. It's just vile. The man is pure vile. Of that, like I said, forget football, forget business. This is human.
Well, Brian, everyone said we have one of the best chairmen when it comes to human and respect, unlike the Arab owners and what's his name, the ex Chelsea owner too.
Mate, listen, if I could, I've said it before, if I could have gone to that Spurs members meeting and I could ask a question, my question would be, Daniel, can we take a walk up the skywalk and see if gravity still exists? That would be my question. I despise this man with a goddamn passion, and I'm going for him. I'm going for him on this, and I ain't stopping.
It is.
I don't disagree with anything you've just said there, Brian.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't disagree with anything you just said there, Brian. In fact, I totally 100% agree with you. I'll just ask you one question. Are you even surprised when none of our stands are named after former players? We haven't got the gates back in there. Bill Nicholson's not got his statue, etc., etc. So are you actually surprised by what's just happened?
Hey, forget all that. That part you thought would be done. The prick won't even put THFC in the seats because we're an entertainment complex and it won't affect other things. So stuff like what you just mentioned, my man, like the stands, the trophies, the gates. Let's not forget those gates that had planning permission before the concerts, but the concerts have been approved and the gates are still... let's talk. I won't even get there. But the fact that we can't even have... Like, someone did it. I think it was actually Joshua fight or one of the boxing fights. And someone said, you would not know this was Tottenham Hotspur Stadium unless you looked at the cocktail at the top. That's it. Where's the THFC or the Coys or the Spurs logo in the seat? I don't have that. I upset Pink. Pink might not come, or whoever might not come because of white seats in a blue. Oh, I'm woosa.
It is disgusting. I mean, but it's like I said. I wasn't surprised, and that's a bit of a shameful thing to say. Really, just nothing really. I think things like that happen. Being a Spurs supporter, you get a bit of a, oh, okay. And then you just think, why did that just not surprise me? I mean, Stel, what's your opinion on this one?
Yeah. Hello to everyone, by the way, and big up the chat. My opinion is so basic and simple on this. For 4 or 5 years, we protested outside the ground, outside the training ground, inside the stadium, on the internet, on YouTube shows, and we were pummeled with abuse, hate, lies, manipulation. Then we were told that we're UKIP because we use the colours purple and gold and we're all racists and part of some kind of Nazi group, right? Oh, yeah. And
Oh dear.
we had a massive chance as a fan base to demonstrate, whether it's boycotting games, boycotting the club shop, protesting, whatever form of standing up to this ownership you wanted to do. And what we did was absolutely fuck all. About 80 of us regularly turned up to the protests. A few fans, well, in fact, thousands got involved in the Levy out chants for about 15 seconds per game. But the fans did nothing. The Supporters Trust did nothing. Change for Tottenham. Who are they? Where are they? They did nothing. And everyone just accepted it, because as soon as Ange came in, all is forgiven, right? And as soon as Ange won 10 games in a row, where's the Levy out lot now? Where's your purple and gold scarves? Where's that little noisy mob? Where are they? And what fans fail to understand, and this is the simple thing, Dan, this is the simple bit. We're not Levy out because we don't win trophies. We're Levy out because we don't win trophies. We treat our fans with utter disrespect. We couldn't care less about our ex-players, our ex-managers, and we charge the most ridiculous prices for what? So when you fast forward a year from those protests where everyone didn't want to get involved, don't moan to me about the ticket prices going up. Don't moan to me that the senior citizens of this club are being taken for an absolute ride, because those senior citizens that still people don't want to stand up for, they're about to lose their fuel allowance thanks to this government. Is that Daniel Levy's fault? No. Is Daniel Levy helping them? No. The disabled fans in the West Stand who now have to pay a fee for their carers to come in. And by the way, they can't come to the games unless their carers come in. To David Pleet, who's been completely treated like shit. All these things that are happening are because fans didn't want to protest against the ownership. Fans didn't want to stand up to them. So now this is all happening. This is why we're Levy out. This is why we're ENIC out. And it's too late now, right? So to piggyback on what Brian said, Levy caused this problem. ENIC are the reason this is all happening. But the reason it continues is because of our fan base who do nothing about it and dedicate their time and energy against the ones who actually tried to stop this from all happening in the first place. Correct, people. We tried to tell you. You hated us. Don't moan now. You've got the club you deserve.
Still, I just want to add something.
Not all fans, Brian, by the way.
No.
The fans that moan about Levy and ENIC, the fans that get upset about what's happened to David Pleet, the fans that don't like what's happening to the senior citizens, you fans did nothing. The ones that love Levy, the ones who defend Levy, listen, you can't argue them because...
So I'll tell you what we're dealing with. I'm going to tell you, I just want to say this before I go, because obviously Spurs announced today another partnership. Well, there's another partnership that Spurs have intel today and announced and released. Never heard of them. Apparently, they're quite a big deal. But I on Spurs' announcement of it, I did the Danny Rose Googling photo and said, "Oh, Spurs now need to Google partnerships as opposed to players." And someone responded to it, and this is what we're dealing with. Someone got back to me and said, one of the most powerful companies in the world, in my opinion, Tencent China-based, you can't buy, sell anything without Alipay. 100% of banks, commercial industries use it. To be fair, the club has hit the jackpot. And I'm like, so wait a minute. They bought us out and we've now got flush with we've now got a training gear side of shirt sleeve sponsor, and Spurs have hit the jackpot because all banks use them. It's good, isn't it? And that might be my alarm to prepare. I'm going to let you go, but I'm sure, Dan, you'll be going on one of your 4-hour runs. And
Spurs.
Oh,
Brian,
I won't be. I'm not allowed
Brian,
to do 4
I need
hours.
to correct you there, Brian. I need to correct you. Spurs haven't hit the jackpot. Levy and Enoch have hit the jackpot.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. It's good, man. We've because of our shirt sleeve sponsor for the training gear, we have hit the jackpot. So I will leave you with my normal, but I'm adding to it at the moment. So David Pleet and his blue and white army, and as always, Levy out.
Take care, Brian.
Later, brother.
Great start to the show, Dan. We're off to a cracker, people. We're up and running, everyone.
Well, some things have to get said. And as far as I'm concerned, I mean, that's something I had on my notepad, as I do, so I can cross that bit. It was going to get mentioned anyway, and it is just disgusting. And like someone else said on the side, it's even down to the fact that he has to apply for his own fucking season ticket. I mean...
I was about to say maybe that new partnership will cover the cost of David Pleet's season ticket. But I'm saying that tongue-in-cheek, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, so with that, I'll just leave that one at that, because my view on that is just... Again, it's sad that I wasn't even surprised, but I did have to look twice at it and think, what the... But again, Levy, it just... Yeah, let's just leave him out of that now. I mean, the fella's an animal. His time will come. Don't worry about that. And I'd love to give him a ring and say, see you next Thursday. Tuesday, either way. Depends what day you fancies a beer. But either way, definitely. So, to this Arsenal game. Things are definitely looking in, some would say, in our advantage. And I would say it's definitely got an advantage to it. I mean, some of the players they got missing, especially Odegaard and Rice, is a big, big miss for them. Very big miss. And then also, from what I see, they've also got that Marino missing, Jesus, Calafiore, Tomiyasu, Tyranny, not that he ever plays, and Timber as well, by the look of it. Whereas we have possibly a VDV, Solanke, 50-50 if he plays or not, from what I've read, and possibly Basuma, and Richarlison is definitely out. And the Bentancur thing, I don't even know what's going to go on with that one, but I take it that'll be later in time and not count for this game. So in that aspect, I'd say they have got two of their biggest players in their spine line out. Surely that has got to give us some advantage of some sort. Whoever wishes to go.
Well, I'm actually a little bit disappointed that they've got the injuries, because when we smash them, they're going to sit there and complain it was because of the injuries. And I'd rather beat them 3-0 with their fully fit squad out. Yeah, so I agree with you on the injuries fronts. The Slanky one actually is classed as a major doubt, not a minor doubt. So I don't know if that's changed, but that was updated this morning. So Solanke could possibly be out. It's hard to really sit there and see what effect that'll have on us because he's hardly played for us. But I am going into it positive, not because of their injury problems, because it's a North London derby and that's a bit of an equaliser. I'm obviously not as confident as I was a few years ago under the Poch years when Arsenal were struggling, because obviously Arsenal are a much stronger outfit these days. And even with my Tottenham blinkered glasses on at full strength, I am not that stupid enough to think it's an easy game. But we are at home, and I believe that it will be a tight game because it's a North London derby and form goes out the window a bit. And I think it will be end to end. I think the biggest worry we've touched on in the past, and we'll probably touch on in further detail, is that high line of ours against their pace, particularly now they've got like a Sterling in their squad. I think he's kind of the perfect enemy for us in the sense that that's the kind of player we don't want to be playing against. And I've got some stats in the background that we'll touch on, that we are at our most frail or most vulnerable when we are attacking high up the pitch, which we all know on this chat as well. But I'm confident that we got goals in the team and it will be a high scoring game. It's one of the best derbies in the country for the neutral to watch. And I think it could be a 3-2 flip of the coin, which way the 3 goes. But I like the fact that you've titled it what you've titled it, Dan, the beginning or the beginning of the end, because if we do go out there and get a positive result, which we can do, then it could be a springboard for the next 4 or 5 weeks where we get a good run of results going and a bit of momentum going and end up building a good platform for the rest of the season. But it could also go the other way if we have a bad performance, a bad loss at home to the enemy, and we've got a couple of really tricky fixtures coming up that will define our season if we get knocked out the cups. It could spell a really poor kind of environment around the club, around Ange, and we could see some bad stuff happening because of that. The cycle coming back that we've all seen before in the past, where we start blaming the manager, start getting on his back, get a new manager in, new manager bounce. Next couple of years is our plan, blah, blah, blah. But I'm mildly optimistic. I think we can get a good result, to summarise it.
Okay. And Stel?
This is a good one, this one, because we don't know who's going to start. Van der Ven's out.
Is he definitely out? Because
Don't know.
from what I read, it's a 50-50 sort of thing with him, or more in our favour that he's going to play.
I'd rather, if he's 50-50, I'd rather he doesn't play, because I don't want him to be 50-50, get an injury, and then he's out for months. So I want him to be 100%
I
if
agree.
he plays. Same with Solanke. If he's 50-50, don't play him. Look, if they both start and they've got no Rice, no Odegaard, you've got to fancy Tottenham. You kind of do. But if they don't play, it's anyone's. The starting lineups really are going to decide it for me, what I think is going to happen. But let's just assume both teams have got injuries. Let's just go on that, because that's how it is at the moment. That's kind of where we're at the moment. This is exactly what I think is going to happen, right? I think Arsenal will start slightly better. After about 10 minutes, Spurs will get a foot in the game, and then we will be the better team. For about 60, 70 minutes, Spurs will be the better team. Better attacking, better possession, some decent chances created. Arsenal are going to be on the ropes, and we're going to have them. We're going to proper have them. But this is the best defence in the league. Their back four are all fit. So is their goalkeeper, who's having a cracking time at Arsenal. They've got Partey, who can still protect the back line. Obviously, Rice is better. And it's going to be very, very difficult to break them down. They haven't conceded a single goal this season against 11 men. Brighton scored because they went down to 10 men. They haven't conceded. Whereas we do concede, and quite badly. When we concede, it's literally shocking goals that we concede. So the way I see it,
same way every time.
It's lapses of concentration. It's no structure to the defensive line. It's the high line. It's a multiple number of factors. I don't think necessarily set pieces were as vulnerable, because we look a bit better. So what I think is going to happen is this: we'll be the better team. We'll come out of it with the better stats. Everyone will be raving how great we were and we should have won it. But I think we'll take the lead. We may even go 1 or 2-0 up, but we will capitulate, because we've always got someone that's going to switch off, someone that's going to do something stupid and give a penalty away. And the high line, Raheem, Trossard, Saka, Havertz, they need one chance. And we will give them a couple, and they'll put it in the back of the net. And I think we'll come out of the game thinking, how did we not win it? We should have won this game. What a fuck up. We let it slip. And I think it'll be a score draw in the end, because I don't trust this manager tactically, defensively. I don't trust our players to put away the chances in the back of the net. But we will come out of it saying we were the better team. But the result won't give a shit about that. And then I think fans are going to begin to seriously get pissed off with what's going on. So we didn't sign enough quality players in those wide areas to make a difference. We simply didn't. And defensively, I just think we're so vulnerable against teams that know how to play against us. And I think Arsenal will set up deliberately to play against the way we go about business. So we'll be the best team on the day. We'll deserve the 3 points, but I think we'll end up with a draw.
Okay.
I don't think we're losing, by the way. I don't think Arsenal are beating us. I will say that. I don't think they're beating us. Not this time. They won't beat us.
I mean, with what you said there, with Arsenal, their manager, and Arsenal, like I would say most other teams and most other managers, have got the capability of reading the next game and changing their tactics to match the game. That is one thing I think we have proven many a time that we do not have, that Ange does not have. Maybe we'll see that. But so, D-Trix, go for it, mate.
Is my mic good? Everything's all right?
You sound so much better, mate. I
Unfortunately,
can hear your
Okay,
voice so much clearer.
perfect. So the mic is good. I'll on Amazon. So I know Stel is trying to be positive, trying to fit in with the other
No.
group, but I don't believe his
I
bullshit.
said we're going to capitulate.
I don't believe it. Even with
Still
Rice,
positive? Never. Don't give me that bullshit.
even
Can't
with
win,
Rice and Odegaard out, if we had Harry Kane, I would say maybe we can nick a win. But unfortunately, with Johnson, Odegaard, Son, none of them are firing. I cannot trust this team scoring goals. And we're going to concede a goal on the counter attack because Arsenal's going to play 5 at the back. For a fact, they're going to do that and catch us on the counter.
Or
And
basically
is
do
this
what
manager
Liverpool did.
going to drop the high line? No. So I'm not looking forward to that game. I'm really not. And if I see Timo Werner coming off the bench, then game's done.
Okay. So, my opinion on this one, we're at home, and even if we're at the top of the table and they're at the bottom of the table, that all goes out the window for something like this one, as far as I'm concerned, of something I've seen, because it is just on. You can say it on any match day, whoever plays the best wins, but this one, it's sort of like everything goes out the window, and it is to that day. This is where this game is. Like Gary Neville even said, it is his favourite game to watch, except for Man U and Liverpool. Except he don't like Man U and Liverpool anymore because Liverpool always totally cook Man U these days, which is quite amusing. But he does say it is the best game in the Premier League. And it is a very unpredictable game at times, even though you can look at it and you can say, yes, Arsenal have a better team, whatever else, and it goes on like that. You still really never know what is going to come out of an Arsenal Spurs game. I mean, one thing you can usually guarantee on, there's going to be a bit of viciousness on the pitch. There's going to be a couple of yellow cards, possibly a red card. The shit always seems to hit the fan. I mean, the one it always goes worse with is Chelsea, but that's always against us. Whereas at times with Arsenal, it is a difficult one to call, this one, I think, because of the injuries they do have. But like some have said, Arsenal these days actually have a squad, which we don't. We never really do. And they have got players, not of the same quality, I don't think, but definitely higher up to sort of match what is missing to take advantage of a situation. And I totally agree with what Dietrich said. We're going 5 at the back. I don't think they're going to go 5 at the back totally. I just think it's every time we get the ball, they're going to basically do what Newcastle done. That is what I think Arsenal are going to do.
No, when I say 5 at the back, I mean the DM is going to drop and protect the back line. So
Yeah,
in a way, it's
either way.
4, but he's just going to be a third centre back, even though he's not playing centre back.
Yeah, that's what I'm basically saying. Like, as soon as we get the ball, they're going to basically drop to 5 at the back and do exactly what Newcastle did with us and sit with 5, maybe even 6 at the back and wait. And this game, again, it's just got it written all over it. I mean, Sterling, you look what they got in for, and we got Turbo fucking Wiener. It just about says it all for me. That one just says it all. But it's going to be a tricky game, and we concede the same goals every bloody time. But I can see a draw out of this one. Go on, Dietrich.
Yeah, do you know when you said usually in the North London derby everything goes out the window and you can't predict? Usually I would say yes, but unfortunately none of our players understand the derby. Even Ange doesn't understand it. Because back in the day we had Kane, we had Dele Alli, players that
I think Son does. That's why I think our goals will come from Heung-Min's Son. I think he will
other
score
than Son and maybe Romero, because he understands rivalries.
Yeah, Romero normally steps up, right, in the North London derby.
Maddison doesn't know what's a rivalry. Even other players, even Sarr doesn't understand it. So Saka's the only one that really hate. Saka and Havertz always show up against Tottenham.
And Raheem Sterling always
and
turns
Sterling
up.
too.
Liverpool, Chelsea, he always turns up.
Even Gabriel, he plays like Ballon d'Or center back level against us every game. So
to be honest with you, right? I think both teams come out of this game upset because we're going to end up on 5 points out of 12, which leaves us below mid-table, which is a pretty crap start to a season after spending all this money. And Arsenal fans are going to be pissed off because they've given Man City a 5-point lead after 4 games. And then their next game is against Man City away. So it could end up being 8 points after 5 games. Title's done in their heads. So I think both teams really, they really badly need the win because this could, like what Dave said, the title of the show. You said the beginning or the beginning of the end. I think that applies to both teams, Dan. I think that title applies to both teams. Arteta's under pressure from the Arsenal fan base. And Ange is obviously maybe not under as much pressure, but fans are questioning our
it's a different type of pressure, isn't it?
Our defensive naivety. Well, if you keep attacking the way we do and you don't put the ball in the back of the net, then you've signed the wrong players. If we start scoring goals and then we don't win games, then you're going to start saying, well, can you coach how to defend? So he's under a little bit of questioning. But I think the title applies to both managers, actually. I think both fans are going into this a bit worried about not getting the points.
But still, like, Arteta just has to play one way, like he did last season, and he's gonna get the win. He just has to apply the same thing.
Yeah, but last season, take away the stupid set pieces, which I think we've addressed. We're not losing that game. The referee as well. Let's not forget we got bumped by that ref. So I think this is going to be a very different game.
We were losing 3-0 at halftime. It was 3-0 at halftime.
Yeah, but that was last season. 2 of those goals were shocking set piece goals, which we are much better at so far this season. Dietrich, I don't think they're battering us. I really don't. I don't see Arsenal winning this. I don't.
So do you trust yourself, Udogie, with his form? He's not playing well against Saka on a 1v1.
Yeah, but I said
we're going to be better than Ben Davies.
Yeah, but I said we're going to give 2 dumbass goals away. Like, we're going to do something stupid.
And who's going to score the 2 dumbass goals for us?
Well, Son.
Do you really trust Son to play striker or left wing to
against
score
Arsenal,
those
yes.
goals? Against one of the best defense in the league.
He scored 2 last season at the Emirates.
Yeah, but that was when we were all firing. Also, everyone was playing well.
Yeah, but our attack is firing at the moment. They're just not putting the ball in the back of the net.
They're not firing.
Well, they are.
In terms of the way we're attacking. Okay, I see what you're saying. In terms of scoring goals, you're right. But in terms of attacking, we are. The problem we've got in attack is we've got a bunch of very average players that can't score. And Son can't save us every single game because he's not Harry Kane, like you said.
And you know Ben White and Saliba are going to double team Son. So who else is going to score that goal?
Then Maddison's got a goal in him. Romero's got a goal in him.
Madison doesn't have a goal in him. Don't say that. That's not true.
No. I disagree with that.
He's got a goal, like one.
How many goals did he score at Tottenham? How many scores he scored at Tottenham?
But he has scored.
Like 4.
If it opens up...
Okay, so he's got a goal
up, he can score.
He's got 4.
So Werner too.
The Sonny one, I think, also depends a lot on the Arsenal because I think all of us would agree that Spurs' tactics are probably going to be what we expect. We're not expecting any big changes in the way we play. But if you remember rightly, and we've done the analysis show, I think you was on it as well, Stel, where Arsenal changed their tactics against us last season and they sat back a lot deeper than they had done a lot of the rest of their season, where they was a lot more proactive to catch us out on the counter-attack. Yeah, exactly. But then that probably does go against Sonny because Sonny's not great when he's got to break down a defence. He's better when a team come on to us and that space is in behind.
He gets squashed.
I agree.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
But look,
it'd be interesting to see what Arteta does. I wondered what the Arsenal fans in the comments feel that Arteta will do this season. Will he go with what he went with last season, which was play deeper, play on the counter attack, or will they come out and be a bit braver this time around? It'd be interesting to see because I think that depends a lot of what will happen in this game because we could say in any game of football, if we take our chances and don't make mistakes at the back, we win this game. But that's a massive thing with Tottenham because I think what you were just touching on there, Stel, our attacking play is actually really, really good. It's putting the ball in the back of the net that we're not so great at. And also we don't concede many chances going back the other way, but the chances we concede are usually ended up in goals. So if we can tighten them up, we can beat any team. But I think Arsenal's tactics are a big decider in the way this game goes from a, will we be on top? I think we probably will be on top. But again, what we said last year, Stel, Arsenal wanted us to be on top. that was their game plan for us, to be on top and then counter attack us. So it'll be interesting to see with their injuries, will they sit there and adopt those tactics, or will they do something completely different? Because Arteta, a bit like the Pep Guardiola sort of guidebook, he will occasionally come out with something completely different. And will he try and be clever and come out with something different, or will he look at last season and think, no, that worked, I'll do it again? Because then Sonny, if he does do that again, Sonny is struggling then, because he's then got to break down a defence as opposed to getting in behind the defence.
I disagree on this a little bit, because this bit about Sonny not being able to play against a low block. You're right. He's better when there's space. But if you go look at the first goal we scored at the Emirates, Maddison beat Saka, got to the byline, squared it back. Sonny's got 2 defenders on him, and he put the ball in the back of the net. So he can do it if he has a quality ball put at his feet in the box. If you look at Brennan Johnson against Newcastle, that clip that's gone around the internet where he smashes it across the face of the goal when no one's there, we can see where Sonny is. Well, if that's Maddison, he's cutting it back. Because it's Brennan Johnson, he's smashing it. So I do think Sonny can score against a low block, not as well as if he's running into space. But the people passing it, the creators, need to be good. And unfortunately, Werner's, Kulu's, Johnson's, Odebert's, they just smash it. Well, Maddison's the only one, and maybe Bergvall can, but we're going to play him probably not. So I do think Sonny can do it, but the service he'll get to do it is going to be pretty bang average. That's my issue.
There's one thing you forget. Last time we played at the Emirates and it was 2-2, Arsenal were not playing a low block. It was end-to-end football. Everyone was open.
At one point, yeah.
Look at our first goal. Sonny wasn't running into space, right? So
but if they play,
do it. He can do it.
No, I agree. But if they
don't play those balls, we don't square the ball back. We just smash it into empty space every single game.
But
and we argue about it. Should the striker run into it, or is Brennan Johnson's fault for just smashing it into empty space? We end up having a half an hour argument over this.
But that space is not going to be there if they play the same way as they did at Tottenham.
So it's square it back. So square it back, Dietrich. Pull the ball back.
And so you look how they scored as well, Dietrich. When Saka basically got the ball over to him, which we all said. I mean, if there would have been like a 2-1 option on the that you could put a bet on it, I'd have like put £10,000 on it if I had it in my back pocket, because then I'd be getting 20,000 back. Because we all knew for 99.999, and I can add the other 9s onto it, percent. You just can't say fact because it hadn't happened. We all knew it was going to happen. I mean, how many of us said exactly as soon as Davies is there, we're fucked, basically? And that is exactly what happened.
All of them.
Yeah, and they were sitting back at times. I mean, especially when they got the goals. Of course they got nothing to come forward for. But even when they got that first goal, they started sitting back more and more and more. If I remember right, in that game, they only had something like 35% possession, basically, and we had the rest. And they were.
Here's a question for everyone. Right? Arsenal are going to sit deep at points in the game. There's no doubt. Do you think we have got the creativity in the squad to create those half chances where one of our players can at least get a shot on target? Because that's half the battle, isn't it? Getting the shot on target.
No.
Do you think we've got the creative? I think Maddison does. Do you think we've got enough in the team to do that? Because if we do, then we can get a goal or two over 90 minutes.
Yeah, but we don't. We accept Maddison. Who's creative in this team? Nobody.
This is my question. I'm asking you guys what you think.
No, nobody, because we don't know if Bentancur is gonna play or if he's banned. Sorry, he's not creative.
He's not banned. He's not banned. They're gonna go for an appeal, and it's gonna drag.
He won't be banned yet.
Yeah, okay, plus they haven't had the saying on it yet, have they? That'll take another week or two. So
he's gonna be
there.
So the only creative is Bentancur and Maddison, but do they have the thread the needle like Eriksen passes? No. So I don't think we do have those El and Porro. Actually, we have three.
With Maddison,
that's 3 players. Then that's not too bad, is it? It's not horrific.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
And the other way we can look on it is if we do get down the side and drill that ball across, if it is going to be packed up in there,
forget that shit.
You don't know what's going to happen. Maybe I'm just clutching at straws there, but this is going to be. I mean, I can still see a 2-2 draw coming out of this one for the sheer fact that I think both teams are going to go into this scared, but also with a bit of confidence as well, especially Arsenal. But we also know that we're at home, obviously, and I think a lot is going to come on our fans. And also, it's exactly what you said, Stel. If they don't win this could fuck up their whole season. Because we all know Man City don't even start playing until March, April even. They really don't get their finger out until then because they don't have to. They just chug along quite happily.
No, but now they're going all cylinders. Now City's on another level this year.
Yeah, what I'm saying is tricks. They don't usually even turn up to games. They obviously still win, but they don't start. They don't get out a second.
Dan's saying City are going to get even better than what we're seeing now. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, at the moment they're just doing their thing. Dietrich. They're just chugging along as they do. Do you know what? If we lose a couple, that's fine. And then when it comes to the last 10 games, we'll win them all in a row, and we'll still smash it.
We got 2 goals at the Emirates last season. We got 2 goals at our ground against them last season. I am not mistakes, errors, forced, fair, whatever. They're 2 goals. I think we've got 2 goals in us against them. I do. I believe that. My concern is we've also got 2 goals that we can give away against anyone. So
very easily.
That's my problem.
No, it might sound crazy, but I think our attack got weaker than last year. I don't see us scoring 2 goals unless if it's an own goal or deflection or a lucky goal.
Maybe we get an own goal then, Dietrich. Maybe we get a lucky deflection. Maybe we do. Still a goal.
I mean, in that aspect, I don't care if the keeper throws it in the back of his own bloody net. As long as we get a goal, I couldn't care less. But I do
that
think
happened with the Romero goal, didn't it?
Yeah, we have got the capability. We have got the capability of scoring a few goals here, and I do think Arsenal are going to be a little bit nervous for this because I can understand now. Arsenal, they've picked up Arteta all the way now, and for me, like it or lump it, the man does deserve some credit because he's actually proven himself to actually potentially a very, very good manager now. Whereas we slated him for a good couple of years. But you can see where he adapts, and he has adapted. And I do think he is going to do different things for this game. And Ange is just going to use his usual Ange tactics and go all out. And there's a very high chance that we do just get caught out the same way we do in every bloody game. But they're going to be nervous because they know if they lose this one, the fans are definitely going to start getting the right ump because it's going to look like another season where they can't basically win the league. And it's going to put that extra pressure on Arteta and everything else. Whereas with us, I mean, this is why I called the whole thing. Is it the beginning or the beginning of the end? Because like I said, like Stel said, it goes, and Dave, it goes for both sides, this one. But what I definitely mean by R1 is if we go and win this, is this going to be that boost for our team that Ange also needs for the extra bit of support? Because people are starting to look the other way, even the ones that are solid for Ange and whatever, they are starting to slowly turn in the aspect of like, well, these 3 games ain't been impressive. I know some are saying we've totally smashed it and we should have won them all, whatever, but at the end of the day, we didn't. So end of, as far as I'm concerned. But if he goes and wins this and then we manage to, well, I say manage, should get past Coventry, which I think is going to be a much harder game than some people realise. And then we go on a run of getting, say, 4 wins out of the next 5-6 games, things could start looking significantly better for Ange. And I think a few people will step back and say, okay, now let's see what you've got till Christmas. Because that's what I'm saying with him anyway. For me, he's got till Christmas to prove if he can actually change or do something. But on the other side of it, I think if we lose this and we actually, not just by like a 2-1 and they get that goal at the end or whatever, but if we actually get cooked 4-1, 3-0, even 3-1 on this, I think you're going to see a lot of other fans now start turning over to the other side, like, right, Ange, pull your finger out your ass. They weren't even able to have 2 of their main players there. And then we go and do something stupid against Coventry and lose the next game. I personally think this whole thing's going to start going downhill for Ange in a very, very bad way. So for me, it is the beginning or the beginning of the end for him, I personally think. What do you three think on that bit specifically?
Yeah, I can't disagree with what you just said there. I think if we get a good performance and a good win, and touching on Stelios' question about the creativity, I think there's enough in the structure of how we set up our attacking play is good enough to create. I think it's just the players' application of that when they start taking 4 or 5 touches on the ball, it mucks us up a bit. So I think we will get goals this week. But you are right. A positive result here, a positive result against Coventry. I know they're a league below, but I touched on it with you the other day, Dan. They are a physical side,
mate. Very.
But no, not just physical. They're a very, very good footballing side as well. The job that Mark Robins has done at that football club should not be understated, and I'm surprised that he hasn't gone to a better job, in quotes, because Coventry are historically a big club.
I'll go back to it.
So yeah, a positive result against Arsenal, going through in the cup. Then we got Brentford at home. Is it at home? I think it's at home. Yeah, Brentford at home. Then we got Asda carrier bags in the UEFA. Should win that. Then we've got United away, which I always back us these days because United are poor, and I think we are a better football team than them at the moment. Feels weird saying that, going to Old Trafford with confidence back when we obviously grew up in the Alex Ferguson era. So I think there's a good chance we can get a good few wins on the row here. But you touched on it, a bad result, and not just a bad result, a bad performance. The crowd are not going to be great this week, I don't think, from the off. They're going to need to rely on that team of 11 players out there making the crowd loud. I don't think the crowd are going to be loud from the off this week because there's a little bit of negativity flying around, and there's not much to be positive about in the half of last season and the start of this season in terms of results. So the players need to go out there and get the fans behind them. But a bad result, a bad performance follows up with a bad cup performance against Coventry, and it will turn like that. And the cycle will return. It'll be get the manager out, then we get a new manager in, bit of optimism for 18 months, and then we go around again in a couple of years when we do the same again. So it's weird to say that our 4th league game of the season is a pivotal game. But Stel was right. It is a pivotal game for Arsenal as well, in the sense that they could fall too far behind Man City already. It's a big game for us because we haven't got the points on the board that we deserve. Or you could argue you get what you deserve at the end of the day, but I feel we should have had more than 4 points already. So if we don't get any points this week, then we're 4 points after 4 games. It's very poor return, and we're sitting there struggling for the season. So yeah, it's a very pivotal game, even though it's 4 games in, which is a little bit weird to say.
It is a bit of a strange one, just after 4 bloody games as well, isn't it? Like that, all of a sudden, both teams are looking on this like almost like the season depends on it. Where some are just going to say, like they already have, oh, it's only 3 games in, don't worry about it. But I don't think I've actually seen a game this significant being the 4th game of the season. Like, it really is a make or break in a lot of ways, isn't it?
Well, I think for Arsenal's point of view, it's because how good Man City are. Man City do not drop many points. So if you want to win the title, you can't drop many points. So that's an easy one to argue. For us, it's a little bit different because it's the hangover from last season coming into this season as well, right? Because we've had many a debate about this. Ange was brilliant in the first 10 games, but actually the last 28 games, not so great. So if we don't start this season well, then who knows? As you said, other fans that have been backing Ange could start going, is he really the manager for us? And as I say, we go through that cycle again of looking for a new manager, which will not fix anything at this club.
And you too?
I blame the managers. I blame the managers for this because you've got one manager who's told his club, trust the process, phase 4, phase 5. Now they're in phase 6. Fans want to see silverware at that club. They've spent £800 million. It's almost $1 billion, right? Their fans are demanding now there's an end product. So when you drop points against Brighton and a couple of injuries, you're in crisis. Well, hold on. Haven't you built a squad? Why are you in crisis? So they got to beat Spurs because their managers built it up to what it is. and fans aren't going to tolerate another year of failure at Arsenal. And our manager told us, I win trophies in the second season. I want to challenge for the title. So when you get off to the start like we've done, and then you lose to Arsenal as well, well, hold on a minute. It's not what you told us. So fans are holding managers to account for what they're saying. And I think at Spurs, with us as well, on top of that, we've had 25 years of this crap. It's like we've been here before. So I think the way the clubs have positioned themselves for this season is what's kind of creating this mini hysteria of this is actually a massive game for both teams. It's because the expectations created have done that. We've never spent this kind of money under any manager in the history of our club. I think Poch spent £10 million more than Ange over 5 years. Ange spent 365 million in 12 months. So fans are expecting something.
Squad.
Right, well,
you say the same thing for Arsenal. We don't have a squad, and we spend almost as much, no, half of what Arteta spent.
Correct. So what do you want fans to do? What if I was an Arsenal fan? I'd be pissed if we lose to Spurs, then lose to City, go 8 points behind after 5 games. I'd be fuming with the manager and the club because I've waited 5 years for this moment. And as a Spurs
Arsenal
fan,
do have a squad now, though, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
So they've got to prove it. They've got to prove that this squad is capable on Sunday. And as for us Spurs fans, I'm not doing this whole give him 5 years, be patient. No, mate. I pay top dollar. I've waited 25 years. I need to see a big improvement this year. I need to see minimum top 4 and a cup final or cup semi-final minimum. Otherwise, what have you spent this money on, Ange? You know, what have you? Why have you hired this manager, Daniel? So there needs to be something for us fans to justify the expectations that are being put on this season. We need something to prove to us that you're not lying to us again. And I think Arsenal fans feel the same way about their club, if I'm honest with you.
Look,
which is understandable. Go on, Dietrich.
Personally, for me, this game means nothing for both teams. That's just my personal opinion. I think for Spurs, the Coventry game is more meaningful than the Arsenal game. Because if we win this game, it shows that Ange is actually taking the cup seriously. But for Arsenal, even if they lose, okay, it's fine. Like, everyone loses, it's a North London derby. But the City games means more than the Tottenham game.
I can understand what you're saying, and I can go with half of it. Because if you do want to get technical, I'll agree with it. The Coventry game is more important because that is a chance of us winning the cup. And plus, he's got to prove that he's actually taking the cup serious, because the last one, he screwed that up good and proper. I will still say it. I think that is one of the most stupid things that a manager has ever that I've seen a manager do. But let's hope he can look and learn on that one. Because, like I've said, if we end up finishing 12th or 15th, whatever, and we win a bloody cup, I'll still moan a little bit about the league, but I'll just be more happy that we've got a bit of silverware. But it's because it's an Arsenal game. It's a North London derby. We also know that there's a chance that we can fuck their season up, basically, just by beating them here. But they also know that they can totally screw us over, our manager over, by beating us. That's what I mean.
Yeah, but if
it's a massive game.
Like Arteta in this mind, like if he comes to Tottenham and gets a draw, like he wouldn't care much. But for Spurs, if we get a draw, it's a bad result. A loss
I don't
or a
think
draw,
it is.
Yeah, it is. Because you have, after 4 games, you have 1 win, 2 draws, and a loss. That's not a good start.
No, but against Arsenal, it's like I said at the start, yeah, you can forget the rest of the season, forget where you are and everything else. It's this game on its own that matters at the moment. You could say that about any game, yeah? But it's this game that matters at the moment, not even who's on form or anything else. I mean, I think you will get a high majority of Spurs fans who, if you said, right, I'll give you 2-2 now, 3-3 now, 1-1 now, 0-0, whatever, I think most of us would snap that straight up, wouldn't you?
Well, like I said, if we won against Leicester, I would have taken a draw. But now it was a draw. We need a win. We have to win.
I think we need to win as well. I agree. I think we have to win because I honestly fear the mindset of our players going into the Coventry Cup game off the back of one win in 4. I don't think we go into that, and they're going to be so fired up for it. Coventry, they get behind their team, that lot, you know, and
we should have
right.
done Man U, innit?
Robbins is a good manager. He's doing well, and if Ange goes there and makes lots of changes as well, we're going to shit ourselves, you know. And it's live on TV. It's all set up, isn't it? It's all set up. So we need to go into that game with confidence and, you know, 6 points in the bag. No, 7 points in the. We was 4 points. Yeah, if we have 7 points in the bag, we're in that top 4 area. We go above Arsenal. We go into the Coventry game with confidence. But if we lose, I think there's going to be. I think fans are going to start turning. I do. I've seen it before. I've seen this story 1,000 times.
Well, listen, I'm one of the biggest defenders of the Ange system. I've backed him all the way through last season with Dan in terms of the tactics and things like that. But it does get to a point where enough is enough. And there is enough time now for him to have had his system in place by the players he wants and he identifies as fitting into his system, which he says he has. Then he has to be judged on results. I still think our performances deserve more than 4 points so far this season. I know, obviously, ultimately, you have to go with what's black and white, and it is only 4 points on the board. But I think our play this season has been better, or at least equally matched the first 10 games of last season. But I think it has been marginally better. But with the caveat, we've played 2 really weak sides in that as well. So yeah, I think this weekend can be a real big springboard in, because, as you say, going into that Coventry game with confidence is much better than going into it, fuck, we need to win this because we've just lost the North London derby and our season could half be over by Wednesday, Thursday, right? So yeah, it's big.
It is. It's just madness on how it's the 4th game of the season, and it is just such a big one because, like I've said already, and you have agreed, I think this one is a make or break for both team season, and to only be 4 games in, that's crazy. I don't think I've ever seen that before in that aspect. Because yeah, it is make and break on both sides, I think. Because if we get cooked here, you're going to see a lot of fans start turning over to the other side. Even the ones that have claimed, I will back him all the way, 100%. Well, what people call backing, I call it different. What I call backing is, I want my team to win. I want the manager to win. I want Timo Werner to score 20 goals. But I don't think it's going to happen. Does that mean I'm not backing my club? No, it doesn't. It just means I'm using logic there in that aspect as far as I'm concerned, because Timo Werner is not going to score fucking 20 goals. But would I like him to? Of course I would. So I'm backing the player, even though I think he's absolute trash as a player. I don't know him as a person. And he also got rated something like, 5th fastest in the Premier League as well when they'd done the thing the other day. But again, when you can't pass, cross, shoot or anything else, to me it's quite irrelevant, really. So Dave, I'm going to leave it to you now. Let's go for the stats.
Right, so you want to start off with the defensive or the attacking? Let's start with the attacking, because at least that's positive.
Whatever turns you on, mate.
Cool. These are basic stats. Don't get me wrong, I think stats are very useful in football, and again, we go back to the David Pleet thing where they told him, yeah, we're doing everything with data. Who needs eyes? I still think you need to look at football with your eyes at sometimes, because stats can be misleading, right? Makuake got an assist at the weekend, but it was Trent Alexander-Arnold who played the ball that split the defence, and it was Harry Kane's finish that got the goal. Maduaki will get the assist, even though he's tapped a fucking 5-yard pass sideways. So take these with a pinch of salt, and it's obviously only a few games into this season, but that's where we're ranking on the attacking front. And I think it actually backs up what we've all been saying. Attacking wise, we can cause any team a threat, and we can cause Arsenal this weekend a threat. We're getting the ball. We're playing forward passes, which obviously was one of the big things Ange got going for him after the Conte and Mourinho eras, and not forgetting Nuno Ball, who actually, to be fair to Nuno, has got his Forest team playing very attacking this season, but I'm digressing. So attacking wise, there's not much in it. It's basically 2 heavyweights of the Premier League going at each other in terms of who's been attacking well this season. I don't know if you want to go for anything specifically there. I think they kind of speak for themselves that both teams are at the top of the attacking charts.
It definitely does. It's the scoring, though,
It's-
isn't it? I mean, it's like the game against Newcastle, and what I've said to people when people keep telling me, "Yes, but we've got all the possession." I couldn't give a shit. We need to score goals. You can have 99% possession and they have 1%, but if they put it in the back of the net, they win. And I think some people seem to almost ignore that.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's nicer to have the ball because when you've got the ball, that's the best way to defend. Although you could argue it's us getting turned over a lot of the time that causes our goals. But if you don't do anything with the ball, what's the point in having it? I mean, Leicester won the league and they had less possession in their opposition most games. It's not a foregone conclusion. That's not the David Brent band, by the way. It's not a foregone conclusion that you automatically win the game if you've got more possession. We do not have a quality striker, so unless our wingers like Sonny and that can put the ball in the back of the net, we are struggling. But flipping it over, this is where we again have touched on it on this call. So yeah, quite evenly matched on the attacking stats when you put Tottenham up against Arsenal. Go to the defensive stats and immediately alarm bells are ringing. Arsenal are very, very good defensively, as Stel's already touched on. And we're very poor defensively, as we've touched on. So they are last season's stats as well. Sorry, by the way. And that's the big concern.
So many stats.
Exactly. I think that goals conceded is the big one, right? And the expected goals kind of marries that a little bit. I think the goals conceded, the fact that we were 7th in it, I think that's 7th best, isn't it? But actually, our overall play, we were 14th best. So 7th worst, if you like. Yeah, big up Philly. But stats can provide a picture. They don't answer the questions necessarily. But I think just looking at that, that's where our concern is. Arsenal will cause us problems. If our defence do their job properly, then I think we've got individual defenders back there that are okay and can do the job. But collectively, the way we play, I think we're just going to let Arsenal have too many chances. If they have an off day and miss a couple, great, we can go win the game. But if they're on the ball, I struggle to see us winning the game, even though I opened this with we're going to smash them 3-0. That's probably my heart over my head. But yeah, so I think that's the big difference. The defence is going to be the decider. If we can defend well, we've got a good chance of winning this game of football. But it's a massive if. I don't know if you want me to leave that up for you, Dan, or Stel, to come back to.
Looking at that, it just about says it all. I mean, for me, at the moment, including Man City, I would say Arsenal have the best defence out there. End of. I mean, in that aspect, you can say stats do talk. I mean, I'm the first one to agree with people that it's not all about stats, but that's more on judging a player as such, because the eye talks as well. But when it comes to stuff like this, stats are stats, and that is fact at the end of the day. And I think they have got maybe not the best players overall in the back four. Back two, I could definitely go for, possibly, because I do think both of them are better than Romero. I know that's a thing you shouldn't say with Spurs, but I do think both of them are, and they're proving it. And
more consistent, I would say.
Yeah, I think that's probably the better way to put it. But those stats are stats. You cannot argue with those fucking stats. End off. You can't argue it. I mean, Stel, have you got an argument here?
Well, this just backs up what I said, that we can score 2 goals because we're one of the top attacking teams. But at the same time, we're going to concede 2 goals because we are shocking defensively. If you 7th, 14th, 7th, 9th, and what's the other one at the bottom? 18th, 14th. The rankings for our defensive stats. If you add them all up together and divide by 5, what's that? Mid-table? We're a mid-table team when it comes to defending. You can't win trophies like that. Can't win games. This is why our record against the top 10 is horrendous under Ange. Because the top 10 teams are going to be the highest ranking attacking teams. So when you've got a high-ranking attacking team against a bang-average defensive team, what happens? You can't beat them. The data backs up what the eyes show us.
And the thing I've said to everybody, and I've been saying it for easily 9 months now, I don't give a shit what anybody says until I see it to believe it, which I have never ever seen it in any league. Basically, is you just cannot play 38 games of you score 3, we score 4. Maybe you can go into a couple of games with that attitude, but you cannot play a season of you score 3, we score 4. The closest that came to it was Newcastle.
Dan, you can do it if you've got Messi, Ronaldo, Haaland, De Bruyne, Prime Henry. If you've got elite players, because that's what the Galacticos did at Real Madrid. But we've got Johnson, Odebert, Werner, Kulu, Richie. That's the difference.
I mean, with what you're saying there, though, even those Galacticos, I remember that, they still screwed up 2 of their seasons because they conceded a couple of silly goals and got draws out of it. And Barcelona haven't gone and won it with you score 3, we score 4. But them 2 teams have got a capability of basically doing a season and pretty much only losing a game or 2. Whereas no one in the Premiership, it's just where I look at the Premiership as harder as such in that aspect. Other people say otherwise, but you look in other leagues, you're not gobsmacked. Well, you're more gobsmacked, should I say, when the bottom team goes and beats Barcelona or Bayern Munich or PSG. Whereas in the Premiership, you go and see Nottingham Forest beat Man City, you're like, oh, but you're not totally gobsmacked over it because it happens a lot in the Premiership. So, yeah, but these stats, they just don't look pretty, do they?
Yeah, so I've just added another one there. Now, massive caveat. We have played Everton, Leicester and Newcastle. If you look at the actual bottom of that table, that's a good thing. We're actually facing less shots per game than we have done last season.
Comments just for a minute so we can see the bottom of the table.
Sorry, yeah.
Yep, sorry, my bad.
That's all right.
So we're actually 3rd best in terms of shots faced. But as I said at the opening part of that, we have played 2 weak opposition teams in there. But we've also conceded a few goals as well. So it's not too great there. But there are signs that actually defensively we've been a little bit better this season. But it's too early for me to really go into that. But that's the defensive side covered. I think the shots per game one as well. We're actually 3rd. No, that's the attacking stat. I'm getting confused now. I'll go back to that because I think you were just about to come in there still.
I was going to say you got Spurs at 18th shots against. Is that what it is? Shots per game against us?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're right at the bottom. Newcastle's number 1, yet Newcastle are above us in the league table.
I mean, exactly below us. That's quite shocking.
They're above us in the league table, and they're the worst team at having shots face them. So what I'd like to see is the quality of these shots.
Well, this is what we had the argument last season. I'll just get rid of that for a sec. This is the argument we had last season that actually, if you looked at the stats, we weren't conceding that many chances, but it was the quality of chances when we did concede, because it was usually a mistake when we're further up the pitch and they're through on goal. That gave away all the goals. So it actually, numbers wise, and this is why you have to interpret stats properly, is that actually, if you just looked at the stats, defensively, we were all right. But no, it was the quality of chances that we gave away that led to the amount of goals we conceded. And I think,
it was basically like a penalty, wasn't it?
Almost, yeah.
It was almost like a penalty.
Vardy, first game of the season. Vardy, first game of the season. He's got an unmarked 4-yard tap-in. Newcastle's winner. 2-yard open goal tap-in practically. We literally gift wrapped early Christmas presents when we give chances away.
Exactly. We don't sit there and let David Pleet sell his book to raise money for his charity, but we're very charitable in terms of giving opposition goals on our football pitch. Yeah.
I suppose that's one way to put it, isn't it?
Yeah. But as I say, early signs are that we're slightly better in the metrics, but again, big caveat for the opposition we played. That's why this week's a big test, isn't it? Not only is it our rivals, forget the fact that they're a North London derby. It's actually a very good football team in the Premier League, isn't it, that we're coming up against for the first time this season. And it'll be interesting to see if, and I know Ange doesn't make big tactical changes. He makes minor tactical tweaks. So it'll be interesting to see how he starts this game and how he adapts to the game going in. Because when we've done the analysis on, I think it was the 2-2 game. I did show where we started off the first half in one system, and actually in the second half we did tweak it. And I think it was the 3-2 game. I know they were 3-0 up, so they took their foot off their gas a little bit. But actually we did change tactics in the second half slightly. Not so much that you'll see it in the naked eye, but when you analyse it afterwards, that's where Ange does do his tactical changes. It'll be interesting to see what he does this week, because I know Arteta will have a game plan specific for Tottenham this week, whereas Ange, he goes out there, he's a bit like Mauricio Pochettino. I will set you up to play how I want you to play. Don't worry too much about the opposition. We will beat them. That was Pochettino. If you listen to interviews about players that played under him, he spent about 20 minutes on the opposition per week, maybe a bit of set piece. He set his team up to play the way we wanted to play, and Ange is quite similar in that. Completely different style, of course. But it'll be interesting to see what tweaks he does at the start. I think the midfield three will be interesting. Is he going to be brave and put two more creative players in there? Or will he sit there and go with the Sarr and Basuma? Basuma's not going to be there, is he? He's a major doubt. But it'll be interesting to see what he goes in there, because you touched on it earlier still, the Bergvale one. Be an interesting one if he went Maddison and Bergvale in there, just as a let's keep hold of the ball. I don't see it happening.
I don't think
it'll be interesting to see what he does.
do that, because there's too much.
And it also, if Solanke's not playing, does he go Kulu through the middle like he has done a lot in pre-season and keep Sonny out on the left, which I'd argue is probably better for Sonny? Or will he go Sonny through the middle?
I think Son on the left, it just doesn't work anymore. I just don't think it's good.
Well, if Solanke ain't playing, who else have we really got to put in the middle unless we play with a false nine?
Well, Dan's saying Kulu. Dave, sorry.
I mean,
that's what he's done in pre-season, and he done it against Newcastle, wasn't it? He started.
Didn't work though, did it?
Yeah, but that was as a false nine. He basically played him. I don't even think it. Well,
this is what I'm saying. What do you think he'll do it? What if Solanke isn't playing, and what about the midfield? What will he get structure in there? Because I think that will tell us his mindset. Because he could be brave and go with Bergvale.
I think he's going to go. I think he's going to go Kulu in the 8, Maddison in the 10, and either Basuma or Bentancur in the 6, and Son will be up front. He'll start Odebert, probably start Johnson or Werner out wide. I think that's what
actually see. Johnson played as a false 9 the other day for Wales, didn't he? I wonder if Ange saw that and thought, oh, maybe put Brennan Johnson through the middle.
Did you watch that? Did you watch?
I didn't watch the performance. No, but they played very well.
No, Brennan Johnson ballooned a shot into the
Wales did, yeah.
Tier of the. He was awful. Dan, did you say that Poch and Ange had a similar prep for games in terms of the opposition?
I meant in the sense that, yeah, Pochettino, if you sit there and I can't remember who done the last interview for it, but there was about 3 or 4 players that have come out and said Pochettino didn't spend much time on the opposition. He spent about 20, 30 minutes a week, and that maybe a bit set pieces of that. And that was from one of the players. I think it might have been Ben Davis, but don't hold me to that because I can't remember off the top of my head. But it was someone who played under Poch.
I think the difference is Poch didn't set us up to be so defensively high risk vulnerable. So perhaps he didn't need to look at the opposition as much because he knew defensively we were pretty solid. And secondly, look at the players we had. Son, Kane, Eriksson, Prime Dele Alli, Moussa Dembele, Wanyama. We had a proper quality set of players. And Ange is deluded, man. He's deluded. The players he's signed, he's out of his mind. I've argued with Sava quite a few times. I said I understand the tactic Ange is trying to play on the attack. I get it. My issue with it is the players he signed can't do it. They're not at the level, or they're the wrong profile.
I mean, that's where people argue, has he been backed or not? I mean, I'm not going to go into that one, but that is where people do argue, has he actually been backed? But he said he has. That is where, again, I feel the man has shot himself in his metal foot because he'd already shot his other 2 feet off. So I presume he's got a Terminator foot. He must have. He still walks. So it's not because
Dan, in fact, do you know what I think he's doing it? Do you know what I think's happened there? Spurs have got a criteria they must follow based on wages, transfer fee, and age profile. There's a number of criteria that they must follow. And Ange has been backed within the criteria the club sets. Unfortunately, that criteria isn't the level required to be successful. So, yeah, he's been backed in terms of if you're only allowed to sign a winger on a free, maybe Werner's the best out there available on a free. So it meets the criteria. So Ange is saying, yeah, I've been backed, but he's not saying what the rules were to being backed. That's what I think's happened at Spurs. Because no one's going to tell me Gray, Odegaard, and Werner is how you challenge for a league title. I'm sorry. No one's going to convince me of that.
Not when you've got like a Chiesa going for 10, 15 mil as well.
But he wasn't good enough for us, Dave, so don't be silly.
Manu Kone went to Roma for 25 million. Perfect midfielder for us. Hybrid 6, hybrid 8. Looks like a Moussa Dembele type replacement. 25 mil. Well, we spent 40 on Archie Gray. I don't get it.
We could sit here and argue about whether the players are good enough till we're blue in the face. At the end of the day, the big fact that we can't deny is now Ange's squad. Like the vast majority of that squad now has been brought under the Ange tenure, so he cannot sit there 15? And say I'm working with someone else's players. Yeah, exactly. He's virtually built an entire squad himself, which is a big turnover in just over a year.
Massive. I mean, a question here I saved from Phil Coyers earlier said we get back to it, and I think this actually comes into pretty much what we're talking about now. And I've read a bit about it myself, and well, basically the question is for the panel: Bentancur potentially being suspended for 6 to 12 games. Isn't it worth going for Rabiot when it's a no-brainer for me? Wages could be an issue though, but if you get the player on a free, and it also does depend on his mother.
It's an ongoer because we can't register any players till January. People have got to get this out their head about the transfer window. It's completely missed with people's head. We can go out and sign a player 365 days a year. It doesn't matter. The transfer window only stops us registering players.
Yeah, we can't
register squad registration. We can go and do a deal ready for January the 1st today. But we cannot sign free transfers because we can't register them.
Well, the only thing
as much as I like the idea in theory.
The only thing we can do, you're right there. The only thing we can do is say, for instance, buy someone who's under 21, and then we could use them because you don't have to put them in your team.
Another kid.
You can just play them as
another kid.
That is the only way we could do it. That's what I'm saying, because you don't have to.
I'd rather we play the kids that we've already signed and see if they're any good.
Oh, exactly. But I'm just agreeing with Dave. Like, yeah, it's about the only thing we could actually do, isn't it? Like, if we bought someone under 21.
The specific one about Rabiot, we touched on it in one of our last shows, Dan, when we was doing the transfer window. Why didn't we go in for someone like that? A bit of experience. I know the wages are high, but you're not paying the transfer fee, and it's only going to be for a year or two. So I actually argued for Rabiot coming in. So that specific example, I'd love to see him in the squad because for times like now, he would come in and improve that first 11.
He's not a bad player. Realistically, a very bad attitude.
Yeah. But realistically, he's not a Tottenham player, as Stel was touching on with the profile. He wouldn't fit any of that, the metrics, if you like. So it's a non-goer, as much as I personally wouldn't mind him. But
to answer the question, 100% I'd have him, 100%. But I think Dave's right. This is a player whose wages we're never going to pay. And secondly, with Rabwa, last year, didn't he say, I don't want to go to Spurs? And the only reason he's on the radar is because he's stuck for a club. So is Ange going to want a player that doesn't want to be at Spurs? Because he's made a big deal about, I only want players that want to be here. So
but
as a footballer, all day long.
That aspect still.
But everything that comes with it.
This happened about 3 years ago. He basically said Spurs are too small for him, and he basically looked down at Spurs and just sort of went, like, you're too small for us, basically. Like, I want to play Champions League, whatever else. He's now managed to get himself in a position, which is obviously his attitude has done him no favours because he wasn't bad at Juventus. I'm not saying he was great, but he wasn't bad at all. But it's mainly down to his. Yeah,
it's on his own. It's more of his mom is ruining his career.
That's what I was about to say. It's down to his mother, bit of a control freak, and it happens.
He's not another one that lives in his mum's spare room, is he?
Like we all do. And with that, it's Maddison had that attitude towards us as well, where he slated Spurs, didn't he? And we still went and got him. But I do think Rabiot, he's now at the position where he just has to take the only way he's going to get games basically is if he goes to Turkey or Saudi Arabia, isn't it? That's the only way he's going to get games before January, basically. Like with what you said, Dave. So
yeah, I'm sure
taking him now.
Sure, he'll go to one of them clubs.
Yeah, but when you
Just what he's
think
going to
about
have
it,
to do.
when you think about it, Rabiot's he's asking for 220k a week, and we're paying almost Werner 165. Like, there's not a big difference. I would rather pay for
Yeah,
Rabiot
but
than
it's
Werner.
just I don't think he was on
And he
it
would
when
be
I
a
first
starter.
started my reply to this, D-Trix. It's irrelevant because we can't register until January anyway. So it's not really much point
You
talking
can
about
register.
it.
You can register free transfer.
Not with the Premier League.
No,
with the Premier League.
No,
we can't.
he's right, Dietrich. On
Nor with the Europa
what is
League.
it? Yeah, with the day after the transfer window, you have to put your team down basically of your 20, 25, 10 players, whatever you register on there. The only ones we could legit go and do is whether it's on a free or whether it's on we pay 100 million for him, is if we go and get someone under 21, because you don't have to register someone under 21, do you? Whereas when you pick your squad of 25, there's got to be, what is it, the certain amount of homegrown players, the certain amount of this and that. So sometimes you can only register 20 players if you haven't got the amount of homegrowns to put in there or whatever. But anyone under the age of 21 or under, if I remember right, you don't have to register them and they can just play as much as they want, sort of thing. I don't know if that's the same rules in the Europa Cup, but I know that is the rules in the Premiership. So the only way we could actually get someone and on there is basically under 21. So the thing is with Rabiot, is basically, even if we do go and get him, he can't do anything until bloody Christmas anyway. So
yeah. To be fair, Dan, we could actually have a whole show on that come January about the changing transfer windows. You remember when it used to be you could buy anyone up until March? And then it shut, and then they changed it because apparently we was protecting the smaller clubs. And I debut that argument. That is absolutely horse crap. I think we should be allowed to buy and sell players as and when we like. As football clubs, particularly lower down the pyramid, that rely on player sales to keep their businesses going. But that's a separate argument. Maybe we can have around January about the transfer windows being absolute bollocks anyway.
Yeah, because there's been a lot of free ones out there that are still free at the minute that personally I just would not have said no to for taking them on, especially instead of Timo bloody Werner. But that's all done and dusted now. So I think I'm going to go to now on both sides. Obviously, start with Spurs. What's going to be the team, do you think? Whoever wants to go.
Just seen a comment in there from Steve Andrews. These stats are all over Sky Sports, and you've left off all the positive stats. You're pushing a negative agenda. We started off with the positive side, and then we went to the defensive side. I can't help it that our defensive stats come across as negative because technically we're not that great defensively. But we actually done the positive side first.
No, we did. Yeah. We did, and the positive side was the possession of the ball and shots and everything else. We're up there with the best, but we just don't score the fucking goal. So, and then you showed the negative side, which was the defensive side. So we have already looked at what you want to call the positive side. So in that one, Steve, gonna have to disagree with you, mate. At the start, Dave did blatantly put it down, the shots and everything we're having and possession and that was the positive side. Whereas the defence, realistically negative, is an understatement. We get caught with the same goals every bloody game. We're sitting with two centre-backs on the bloody halfway line and that. I don't give a hell if you're the best team in the world. You're still gonna have negative defence stats, basically. Because that's why I say this system just ain't going to work over 38 games.
I'll start off with the what I think the team will be, then I'll let the others come in and maybe follow up at the end with what I'd like it to be. But I think the team's going to be Vicario in goal, Porro, Romero, Dragusin, and a Dougie at the back. I don't think Mickey van der Ven's making the squad through injury.
One second there, Dave. It's literally just come up like in the past 15 minutes. This has just come up. I mean, the type of injury he's got is a knee injury that he obviously got from this game, but they're saying it's only a minor doubt that he's going to miss the game. How serious that is, how realistic, we don't know.
Yeah, it was a thigh injury that actually ruled him out initially. So when I saw the knee injury, I didn't know whether that was a new one that he's picked up or not, or they've just turned it as that. But yeah, either way, I think if it's a risk, we won't play him, but who knows? So I'm just assuming he's out. So Dragusin and Romero at centre-back, Porro at right-back, Udogie at left-back. I think he goes with Sarr and Bentancur in the middle, Maddison just in front. You can flip a coin, Johnson or Odebear, but I think he'll go Johnson. Sonny on the left, and I think he'll play Kulu through the middle. That's what I think he'll do. I'm not saying that's what I would do. I'm saying that's what I think he will go with. And now I'm just going to shoot off for a minute. That's why I had to quickly get that in.
Okay, still.
Yeah, the back four is the back four. It never changes. Same with the goalie. I think midfield, I think he's going to go Bentancur, Maddison, Kulu, Maddison. And then across the three, I think it's going to be Odebear, Son, and I think he's going to start Johnson.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I never said that's what I want. That's what I think is going to happen.
No, but it's actually depressing. You just said that front three.
Yeah, it definitely sort of...
Honestly...
like I said, I don't want that. That's what I think is going to happen. The only thing I might get wrong is he might play Kulu out wide. If he starts Basuma, he'll go Basuma, Bentancur, Maddison as the three.
Basuma's injured.
We don't know that yet.
No, it has said Basuma is pretty much ain't happening from what I've read on a couple of things.
Well, he might. Okay, he might do Pape Sarr, Bentancur, Maddison, and then play Kulu outright. Look, what I think he's going to do: Bentancur, Kulu, Maddison, Odebear, Son, Werner. But if there's any difference, it will be Kulu instead of
Werner.
So it'll be Kulu instead of Johnson out wide, and it will be Pape Sarr instead of Kulu in the middle. That's the only thing I see being different. Bergvall won't start. Gray won't start. He's not going to start Werner. Who's the other donkeys? Davies won't start. Dragusin, I don't think he'll start him either. Don't know the rest of the bench. None of the kids will play. Lankshears, Moores, none of that. Same old, same old. If Solanke's fit, he'll obviously start, and then maybe he pushes Son out left. But I don't think.
I don't think Solanke's going to play. I don't think he's going to be fit enough to play.
Listen, Dragusin will play if Van der Ven's injured. That's about it.
He's about the only one that can go there.
There's no one else.
Oh, no, Archie Gray. Don't forget. No. Still, don't forget Archie Gray.
Yeah, Gray, the generational versatile player. He's not going to play either.
Don't you think it's a bit pathetic that you named the team and it's only one new player on the starting 11, and it's all
terrible.
It's legit the same.
I can go into an explosive rant, but then I'm just literally copying the last 3 months of videos I've created, and I'm just at a point now where it's your most absolutely pointless. I think we're going to get. I think
the team I named was all from last season.
Well, there you go. 365 million, and we've got the exact same starting.
I mean, Dietrich, I'll come to you to pick your team in a second. I just want to make a point here with mapping. Conte style is outdated nowadays. Not a chance.
Is that why he's smashing it up in Italy?
Yeah, he's not doing well. I'll give you the thing about Conte style. Now, Conte style, personally, is how I would play football. The reason I like Conte style is because a lot of people say it's dated, this and that. Yes, with the team he had, it looked dated as. But if you want to play a good counter-attack and you've actually got a defence like ours, which is technically good, and the wing-backs we've now got, we could actually soak up that pressure with 3 at the back and the wing backs, and then within a split second, bang, 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 the ball's forward in the back of the net. I like that style of football because all of a sudden it goes from being slow and then the pace is up there with a good direct football. I prefer direct passing to all this tick-a-tacker crap and everything else. But it's personal opinion. But the other thing is, if the Conte style is outdated and doesn't work, then why does it keep beating us? Why does every team keep basically playing a Conte style against Spurs and beating us? Why is it with Newcastle, every time we got the ball, literally got the ball, all of a sudden they went to 5 at the back, 3 in the middle, and 4 in the middle even, and 1 up front. The Conte style does work. If, again, like the Ange style could work a lot better if you've got the right players to do it. I was saying this like 9 months ago, mate, of you go and get this team and you play it in Conte style, we can absolutely smash games. Okay, up front, we'll still be a bit, not necessarily putting it in the back of the net, but no way is that Conte style outdated yet. You get the right players for that, that'll work a treat. Every team seems to do it against us. Go 5 at the back, soak up what we give them, wait for the mistake, and then bang up the other end of the goal, and there you go. So I don't know what you three think on that. Do you think the Conte style was outdated?
His formation is not, but his coaching is outdated. Because now you have to be a soft, family-oriented person.
Yeah, but it's the style outdated.
Style just a little. Because he's a bit stubborn. He always plays like one way only.
Oh, similar to Ange. But what I'm saying is by the style, like with the basically 5 defense and whatever else in that.
No, the formation, no.
Attacking football, the formation, the style. So forget.
No, the formation. City plays the same way, so no, it's not outdated.
No, I don't think it is, and I think it's pretty much what every team does against us, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
give Conte elite players, he'll get you elite results. Not every manager guarantees elite results if you give them the best players. That's why they're the best managers in the world. That's why Pep, the best teams in the world, give Pep the job, because they know if they spend the mega money, Pep will sign the kind of players that get the results. Same with Klopp. Whereas, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, they spent hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions at Man United with Ole, and what did he give them? Nothing. Arteta, 800 million. What's he given them so far? Sod all.
Won FA Cup.
Conte, give him the money for the players he wants, and he will get you the results. Conte's elite.
Same as Mourinho. That's why I still personally think, I mean, it's a personal opinion, but I think Mourinho is... Yeah, I think Mourinho personally has been the best manager ever out there. And that's
Ancelotti, Ancelotti.
I mean, 100%. I think Mourinho has been a better manager than Alex Ferguson. Some would say to me, how dare you say that? The reason I say that is because he didn't just hang about at his big club where at one point it was basically safe, where most people could have bloody won it with that Man U team compared to how poor the Premiership was. Mourinho, the one I'll give you with him quickly is when he went to Inter Milan, that team wasn't much and that team was struggling. And the team he pulled together is, if you actually go and watch on it, wasn't exactly special player for player. And he got it playing his way and he absolutely smashed it and done the treble with them. And it wasn't easy for them because they had some very good players, but they did not have a mega team. And for me, Ferguson, what he's done, you can't take it away from him. One of the best managers ever. But I rate a manager that's gone out to different leagues and done it in different leagues more than one who's just sat with the biggest team in the Premiership. Personal opinion. That's
you are forgetting what he done with Aberdeen.
Oh, right, okay, but
so he's done it twice. Well, 2 cups.
Listen, there's people in the chat saying. There's people in the chat saying that's because, Dan, you're more into Italian style of football. Do you know? It beggars belief. Who won the Champions League? An Italian manager. Who won the Europa Cup? An Italian manager. They're not outdated in Italy, man. They're not outdated. They know what they're doing. Maybe they haven't got the same resources that Man City and Arsenal and Tottenham have got nowadays, and Man United. Give these managers the money and you will see what's what. Conte came to Spurs. We gave him £200 million and thought, go win us everything. Don't work like that. You've got to spend a lot more than that. Mourinho came here. 160 million we gave him, whatever it was. You think that's what Mourinho's about? And even then, he got us to a cup final. Even then, he found a way to get to a final.
So don't no one think that I'm disrespecting Ferguson in saying he wasn't a great manager. And I get what you're saying. I watch the Italian football a lot and one of my favourite leagues in that. But then I can also give you, when he went to Spain, Barcelona with a dog's bollocks out there, and he managed to go and get Real Madrid doing. I know Real Madrid are up there as well, but Barcelona were pretty untouchable at that point. When he did do it at Inter, he done the bloody treble there. He even won it with Porto. Even when he come over to England, he done it double over with Chelsea.
Mourinho in his prime was next level. In his prime, he was next level.
Yes, and he got trophies at Man United, and he even got us to a bloody
Porto,
cup final.
United, Real Madrid, Inter.
Yeah,
everywhere he's been, except for Spurs.
That's why I rate managers like, well, it's like any manager then, isn't it? But that is why I personal opinion, rate managers higher than Ferguson. Because when Ferguson done it, yes, what he done was just unforgettable. But for me, he stayed in his safe bubble. It's personal opinion. Whereas you got
Mourinho is a Savage channel, Football Heritage, isn't he?
Yeah, mate. There's a disease at Tottenham which is called
winning.
We could winning. Yeah, that's it. Done. Winning. We don't want to back a winner. We don't want to get behind the winner. We don't want to stand up for a winner. We want the Tottenham way, which has failed for 30 years. I don't even know what the Tottenham way. I don't want the Tottenham way. I want a new way. I want the winning way. And we've had winners at this club. Owners didn't want to back them. Fans didn't want to get behind them when it mattered. And you know, we just want someone that's good with the media, someone that says all the right things, plays a front-footing, attacking football. And we're happy. That's it. But that's not enough. You need a winner. You need managers that know how to win at that top level. At the top level.
How to get their players up there as well, isn't it? Their mentality up there.
Yeah.
And again,
the thing is with a Conte and look, especially with a Mourinho, if you give Mourinho a player who's kind of 6 out of 10, like a Ben Davies, he's fucked. You can't coach it. If you give him a player who's 8 out of 10, like a Harry Kane, he'll make them 10 out of 10. He'll make them a 10 out of 10. That's why you've got to give him top players and he'll get you to the promised land because that's what he does. He knows how to give that extra level up from where they are. So if you've got a Ben Davies, the best Mourinho will get him to is like a 7 or 8 out of 10. Well, that's not good enough. You've got to be 9 or 10.
You see, this is another one I'm going to go with here. Again, with what you've said here, Mappin. With the best players, any competent managers will do the job. No,
rubbish.
Not at all. My opinion, but I can also bring up some facts and whatever. But again, what I say about Ange, go and give him the best defence the planet has ever seen. And I'll repeat it again. For me, it was Maldini, Yapstam, Nesta, Cafu. Go and give him that defence. And he will still concede too many goals and will not get a season out of it because he will just purely concede too many goals.
Poch was competent. What did we win?
You know?
He's a competent manager. Yeah, he had a fantastic starting 11. Phenomenal. Best we've ever seen in the last 25 years at our club. What did we win?
It might be controversial, but even Klopp, he had a good team, but he didn't win enough. If it was Pep, he would have won every trophy in the world with that team.
Yeah, so on that one, I don't think you can really hold Klopp to it as such. I mean, that's why you can almost say you can't really blame Arsenal for not with the first season, but when you're just playing a team against Man City, you can understand it. And quality doesn't always prevail. If you haven't got the right
managers, Dan, that won the Premier
League.
Dan, look at the manager that won the Premier League. Right? Who's the last manager to win the Premier League? Pep. He's won like 4 in a row. Pep, right? The best of the best. Who won it before him?
Klopp, I think, is one season. And I'm with Dietrich on this. How can he be a PL legend when he's only won one league title in like 8 years?
I do agree.
Who won it before Klopp? Who won it before Klopp?
Pep.
Ranieri?
No, it was Pep.
Maldini?
Oh yeah, sorry. I'm assuming Pep was already covered.
Ancelotti?
No, it was Conte.
Conte?
Yeah,
Conte, Chelsea, yeah.
So look at the manager that won it the last 10, 15 years. Klopp,
Ancelotti.
Pep, Ancelotti, Conte, and Mancini. They're all.
Don't forget Ranieri.
Ranieri, who let's be honest, he actually won a league title in Italy as well, right? Ranieri's not a crap manager, but okay, you could say he's not elite. That year was a bit of an anomaly. that was a one-off, but in general, 99% of the time, it's an elite manager that wins a league title. Mourinho, Fergie, Wenger. When is a Poch, a De Zerbi, an Eddie Howe, one of these level managers, an Arteta, whenever they ever won a league title, they haven't. They're competent managers.
Would you say Pellegrini's at the level of Poch?
No, he's better.
Okay.
Actually, no, he spent. Well, they had some fantastic players at that time, didn't they?
Yeah, but they beat the Man United team. Like,
I think what I'm
Man U
trying to
was
say
better.
is 9 times out of 10, the elite manager is the one that wins the league title.
You can even
There's
go
a
back
reason.
and say Wenger and things like that. But 9 times out of 10, it has always been a
It's
special
an elite manager. There's a reason they're elite, and all of those managers, I think, bar 2, have won the Champions League as well.
Now
Yeah.
you understand why I was Ange from the beginning when he signed for Spurs. Because the only way you can win anything in life, you needed the elite manager.
Yeah, but we weren't going to do it with Conte or Jose
But we
either,
sh-
because they'll tell
No,
the
but we
board
sh-
that the board is
No.
wrong and everything they do is wrong, and you've got to listen to me and our board are never going to allow that to happen because
I get
Levy's
it.
ego is bigger than everyone's asshole.
No, but let's say if we
Well,
didn't
not asshole,
buy
us
those,
in general, but
we didn't buy those
Arsenal's
Johnson
quite
and
small.
everything.
No, I mean, you can go.
I
and get the best
do want to
manager
go
on the
there
planet.
still. Yeah. I said it. I thought, oh, that doesn't make sense.
You can go and get the best manager on the planet, but if he's got just a crack team there, he will get him to play better. But he ain't going to go winning no bloody league or nothing, is he?
Pep ain't winning shit at Spurs. He
I
ain't winning nothing
swear,
at
no,
Spurs.
no.
Maybe a
If
league
we-
cup.
No, if we change the forwards with that defense and maybe tweak a number 6 in midfield, he can actually challenge for league title with this team.
So if he changes the squad,
No,
other than
I'm saying
4 players,
no. If he buys 2 forwards and a DM, I think, and we don't get any
this
injuries.
midfield cannot play Pep football. No fucking way.
Madison and a number 6 with Bentancur.
And a
Like,
number
it's actually
8. No.
no, it's good enough.
Bentancur
It's
goes
good.
missing against all the top teams, Dietrich. He always goes missing.
No, but he
against
would
big
coach.
teams.
No, like you said, he's a good, solid 7 out of 10. Bentancur, he can coach him to be a 9 out of 10. Because you saw Conte under Conte, he was one of the best midfielders in the league.
I don't think Pep can take this club to a league title. He'll get us top 4, but he's not
I
getting
think
us a
he
league
can.
title.
Under
No,
Levy, no.
You're deluded.
No, under Levy, no. But with this team, I think he can work miracles.
This Spurs team we've got now, at best, is a top 4 team. At best,
Yeah.
they're not better
Yes.
than that.
No, if we change the forwards, I say we can challenge for a league title.
But if you change the forwards, that's no longer this team, is it?
Yeah, of course.
This team for me is a 4th place team. It was like I said last season. For me, it was purely down to Ange's tactics on why we did not get top 4. 100%. Because if he would have adapted during the season or at certain points, or even pulled his finger out with the set pieces a lot earlier, we would have conceded less goals, got more points, and we would have been in 4th place. That is why I purely blame Ange for this. But a lot of people don't look at it like that. So it's each to their own on that one. But personally, I think this team play it the right way. I think we've got a first 11 that can get in the top 4. But it all comes back to the point of having the manager that's going to play it the right way. So back on the point I was saying, Dietrich, what is this team going to start with?
So the same back four that Stel said, Van de Ven. No, actually, if Van de Ven's injured, it's going to be Dragusin, Romero, Udogi, Poro. Midfield, Kulu, Bentancur, Madison. And forwards, I think it's going to be... I hope it's going to be that, but let's see. Werner, Son, Odeberg. Because Werner would be a better option on the left than having Johnson on the right. Because Werner has pace. I know he's not good, but at least he can beat his man and run into spaces. That's the only good thing he has.
Yes, That is one thing I've always stuck up for him for, in the aspect that he has got the bottle to do it and the capability to do it, whereas Johnson has got the capability to do it, but he's just, let's just say they haven't dropped yet. And and that's probably the politest way I can put it. There are some, I don't know, some might not get it, but either way, I'm sure you got the point I was making. But Werner, he can actually beat his man. I mean, for me, what I would do here, I mean, obviously we're going to have to go by the way Ange plays it. If Van der Ven is fit, I would start him on the left personally, because I think he can deal with Saka. Now, don't get me wrong, Saka, quality player, everything, we all know it, even though there's a lot I can say about him, but I think Van der Ven is our best choice of having someone on the left that can actually deal with Saka. And obviously on the right,
when you say left, you mean left back, right?
Yes,
or left
wing back. Yeah, I'd had him there, like we did actually play him, and at first I was a no-go for that because we desperately need him in the middle. But if you're going to do that, then you're going to need Romero and Dragusin to step back 5-10 yards, basically, because otherwise the ball will come over the top. But their pace down the middle isn't great. Havertz ain't quick. And Jesus, they don't even play him most of the time now, even if he is fit, because Havertz, I thought he was absolute shit at Chelsea, and I couldn't stop laughing when he went to Arsenal. I think he's shut quite a few people up, me being one of them. But they don't even really play him as a striker. They play him in a bit of a weird way, but it works. But down the middle, I don't think is where we're most vulnerable with Arsenal. It's on the wings that we're vulnerable with them.
No, honestly, that's a great shot, playing Van der Ven left back, because I think Udogie has been atrocious this year.
Yeah,
in every shape, forward, defensively,
passing. You can't play Van der Ven left back, because then the way we played the fullbacks invert. If you invert Van der Ven high up, then it's too far for him to make the recovery.
No, you only invert one, because when Van der Ven played left back, he never inverted. He was playing proper left back, up and down.
Yes.
Porro was the only one inverted last year.
Then any attack down the middle, Dragusin hasn't got the pace, nor Romero.
That's why I said we'd have to drop them a little bit.
No, but
where they haven't got the pace in the middle, we're not so vulnerable in the middle with Arsenal.
So you'd play Van der Ven at left back and drop the defence.
No, you don't need to drop the defence.
You do need to be fair to Dragusin, he kept up with Isaac the other day.
Yeah,
that wasn't from the halfway line though.
Dragusin's problem.
He was a little bit quicker than I thought he was.
He's turning. Yeah, he's not slow, and he's very good at going forward. He's good at coming back on himself. But his problem is he can't just spin it and run like Van der Ven.
To be fair, the pace
to turn round.
The pace from Newcastle doesn't come from Isaac. It comes from Gordon and Murphy. They're the rapid ones. They're the real quick ones.
Yeah, but Isaac isn't slow, is he?
Yeah, but
no, he's not slow. You're right.
Because we don't need technical. We can play the high line just because they don't have a technical striker except Havertz, and Dragusin can handle Havertz pace on pace. The only issue we have is Saka, and who's going to play on the left.
Hold on. Yeah, but then if Raheem goes, who's going to keep up with him? Because
but Sterling is not going to play. Probably come off the bench, but he's not going to play.
Okay, so when Raheem comes on the pitch, who keeps up with him?
Well, that's
but he's going to go
to next.
Who he's going to take?
But on the left,
who's going to keep up with Raheem then?
No, but
if Van der Ven's in the middle, he shuffles across. If Van der Ven's on the other side of the pitch, we've got a problem.
No, but I'm saying who is he going to sub off? If Sterling comes on,
Dietrich, I don't care who he subs off. If Raheem Sterling is on the pitch on our right hand side, who's going to mark him when he breaks?
Van der Ven.
Van der Ven's on the other side of the pitch. He's a left back.
Porro can handle him.
Porro's the one that inverts high up.
Yeah, we just
come into it.
No, Dietrich, I want to hear the answer to this, because this is what we don't.
Actually, wait. Actually, Kulu did a good job playing defensively when he played as 8, dropping deep and protecting.
But we pushed the 8 up when we.
No, but Kulu last against Newcastle. No, was it Newcastle?
No.
or
No, it was
Everton. I don't remember
No.
which game, but he really did a good job defensively.
Yeah, Everton.
Dietrich. On the right-hand side of Arsenal, when they break, forget Porro, because he's high up. You're looking now at the centre-backs to shuffle over because the 6 isn't there. So the only one that can keep up from that centre-back role and go across is Van der Ven. If you move Van der Ven to the other side of the pitch, he's not going to make that run there. It's not happening because he's going to have to go diagonally from there to there. The distance is too much, even for him. That's why Van der Ven, for me, should always start in the middle, because he can make that sprint down the middle and then go that way or that way. If he's going to go from there to there, we're asking for problems.
I totally get what you're saying, yeah, but I'm just saying the way I would personally do this with Ange's tactics, even though personally I wouldn't touch him with a barge pole, but that's just not that's just not how I would want to play football. But with the way we do it, I would stick Van der Ven out as our left wing back, and the reason I'd use him there is because Udogie, I totally agree with Dietrich, he has not been good this season, loses the ball too easy. And Van der Ven is the one who's got the capability of speed-wise easily keeping up with Saka. He's also got enough flexibility to be able to spin and catch up with Saka as well, which is a problem that Dragusin has. He's quite robotic in his movement at times. He is not good at spinning and running, whereas Van der Ven, I can deal with it.
Yeah, but then, okay, so once they realise Saka's man mark, they'll send the ball to Raheem Sterling or they'll send the ball to Martinelli.
Right.
Who's going to keep up with them now?
Right,
No,
but
Dragusin
still, when
is-
they realise that Doji's on the left, they're just going to send it over to Saka, who's going to go past him and make him lose the ball anyway. So I'm just telling you how I would personally start it. And that would be with Van der Ven on the left to keep up with Saka. Porro, we both know they're going to be inverted and we're going to be in problems anyway. But I'm just giving you my
I just feel when you play the best teams, play your best players in their best position.
In
Don't
general,
start
yes.
shuffling because what you're doing now is you're playing. You're thinking more about the opposition, not what we're best at. All we need to do, we don't need to move anyone. We just don't need to play a fucking high line. That's it.
But
That's what you got to do.
gonna.
Because then, where's Saka going to run? Where's he going to run into? The space isn't there.
If you play Van der Ven, he's gonna shut him down for the whole game.
And the other
So
thing
you
with
know
Van der
they're not
Ven,
gonna do anything forward.
But there's more than one good player at Arsenal, Dietrich.
No, but going forward-
Trossard. Havertz is was one of their top scorers last year.
I agree, but
Martinelli. Who's going to keep up with them when they break?
I agree, but
Havertz, he's not quick, but Martinelli's rapid. Raheem's got some pace.
No, I get it, but Saka is the main threat. And you saw what happened when we put Ben Davies or Udogie at the left back.
Hold on. Udogie dealt with Saka at the Emirates. He dealt with him.
And this year, did he do anything?
He didn't play.
this year
He was injured. He didn't
bad.
play against. He didn't play against Saka.
No. I'm saying no, Udogie. Is he good? Did you see what he did against Newcastle?
Did you see the whole team against Newcastle? Did you see Dragusin and Romero? Did you see Maddison giving the ball away?
No, I'm saying him specifically. I'm not talking about the others. I'm talking about him.
I don't put it all on Udogie. There's a lot of failures that happen in that game. There's a lot of errors.
The back passes, the forgotten man mark.
Romero switched off for both goals. He walked past the player.
No, but you're changing. No, I'm talking about Udogie, not Romero.
Yeah, but I'm talking about you're blaming Udogie for the game against Newcastle, ignoring all the other players, and then saying, "Well, what's going to happen when we play Saka?" No, Udogie dealt with Saka at the Emirates. Udogie can deal with Saka, but not if he's inverted high up. He can't.
Yeah, but we know they're going to do that anyway. So I'm just giving my opinion on what I would do with it. Van der Ven is more than capable on the left because if we actually go and check him out, that is where he started as a player, and that is where he played the whole time for the Dutch under-21s. He's more than capable of doing it, and it wouldn't just be putting a player who's not really just putting in there for the sake of it.
So Dan, any team that's got a good right winger, then we've got to play Van der Ven left back. Is that what you're saying?
No, depending who we are. I don't see the threat down the middle as much as I do on the wings. That is why I go for Van der Ven on the left.
I think Trossard's dangerous. I think Trossard's a threat.
There's only one player we're going to have on the right, and that's Porro, unless we go and play Spence, which ain't going to happen.
Yeah, but you don't think Trossard's a threat?
Of course he is, on the wing.
But Trossard comes on and plays normally as a 10 or plays as a striker.
Usually when he comes on, Trossard usually plays on the left because he usually gets swapped for Martinelli.
I like to be playing Kai Havertz up top, which is a physical presence. So Dragusin, I'm comfortable.
But what I'm saying is, the pace down the middle.
Van de Ven's out anyway, I think.
Isn't my problem.
Yeah, Van de Ven's out.
Well,
it's
I've read it on
irrelevant.
things he's minor. Others are saying that he's in there. So I don't know whether.
Can we get to the most important question, please? Because this is a
I haven't
North
even
London...
given my team yet. I haven't even given my team.
Sorry. All right.
So I go Van de Ven on the left, Porro on the right, and obviously Dragusin and Romero in the middle. Obviously, it all starts whether Van de Ven is basically playing or not. In the middle, there, tricky one, but I'm going to have to go for Bentancur and use him as hopefully more sitting back as a box-to-box, like what they do with Basuma. And then next to him, I would stick Kulu there, because I think he's got the most physical presence out of anybody in our team, basically. And then this is where it just gets to the dirty part of what the fuck do you do with the crap we've got up there? So for me, I'm just going to have to stick Son down the middle, Odegaard on the right, and God dare I say this, Werner on the left. And that is just purely for the chance that he's actually going to try and beat his man and got the capability of doing it, whereas Johnson ain't. No, we ain't going to get goals out of him or whatever, but I just feel Werner can put more pressure on a team to an extent where he can keep them back a bit more with just the pace he's got. I can't believe I've just said I would start Timo Werner, but that just shows how much crap we've got up front. And that is pretty much why I'll go for Kulusevski in the middle for the sheer physical presence. And if he plays, I would personally stick Van de Ven on the left to try and deal with Saka, because Udogie isn't good defensively. He's a bit like a Porro. He can defend better than Porro, but defense has never been Udogie's way. He's always been a wing back, not a full back, and better at getting forward and better at getting involved in the situation. If anything, I would say defending is actually, I'd say it's probably his weakest point. Same as Porro. He's just better at it than Porro. So that's the team I'd go with. But is Van de Ven even going to play? Some are saying no. Some are saying yes. I mean, I've been checking it up on here and it's still saying he's more than likely to play. We just don't know. We'll see when it comes to it, basically. If Van de Ven's not playing, then obviously it has to be Udogie on the left and Dragusin and Romero in the middle. There's not much option there in that aspect, is there? So there's only one or two changes we can make, and I can't just believe I said I would start with Werner, but I think I'd rather start with Werner than Johnson these days. And that's going some.
It might be stupid, I don't know. But let's say Doge, we all know he's not playing well. Would you guys maybe start Spence on the left? Or you think he's going to get smoked defensively?
No, he'll get absolutely cooked on the left. Absolutely. And I think he'll get cooked no matter where he plays. But with that one, you've got to stick someone who is natural with that position. And Van de Ven is natural with that position. It's where he started playing most of his life, and it's where he done it in the under-21s. It was only through halfway at his time at what's his name he was at when they started using him in the middle for his pace, and that's exactly what we needed, man. And like I said, I don't see the biggest threat at Arsenal of the ball coming over the middle. I see it down the wings. So I want my fastest player on the wings. And I think Romero and Dragusin have both got what it takes to deal with Havertz if the ball come over the top. But then if they're sitting on the halfway line, only time will tell with that one. But with Arsenal, I think the biggest threat is down the sides because they haven't exactly got the pace in the middle. But that's all ifs, buts and maybes. We'll only see when it comes to it. I just pray that Van de Ven is fit, because if he's not, I think, well, we're definitely in a bit of trouble there. So what do you think Arsenal are going to start with? Since they got players missing, this is where I'm more interested in, actually interested in is what Arsenal are going to do. Because I don't think they've exactly got another great playmaker apart from Odegaard, really, there.
I think they're going to play Saka, Havertz, Martinelli. Then they're gonna play Trossard at 10 and play Jorginho and Partey in midfield.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. But that's where they lose a bit of pace in midfield, don't they?
You're on mute still.
Yeah, sorry guys. No, I was gonna say Dan, Dave, Dietrich, everyone in the comments. I've got to go. I've got to go and eat. So have a good rest of the show. Whatever.
Cool. Thanks for coming on. And you doing anything soon?
9:30 tonight, North London is our Spurs v Arsenal chat. It's going to be well. Let's see what it is. I think both sets of fans are worried, so it might be a bit mild.
Still go on a diet. Stop eating, please.
Thank you for your constructive words. You really help. Thank you.
As a friend to a friend.
As a friend to a friend.
Take care, Steph. Good to
right, cheers coming on, Steph.
Stop having a Kane top. You're a Spurs fan, Dietrich. Just to remind you. All right. Peace.
See you later, mate.
Take care.
Yeah, so I pretty much agree with what you've just said there, Dietrich. I think that is what they are going to go with. My question is, who do they start on the left? Are they actually going to go for Sterling on the left? It wouldn't surprise me if they did, but I think that's more of one that they bring on at half-time with 60 minutes gone as such, like we do with Johnson at times or Werner at times, to throw that pace at a half-knackered team. They've got the option of doing that. But Trossard, very good player that I wish we had, but he has not got the capability in the number 10 that Odegaard has. Nowhere near, as far as I'm concerned. And in the middle, if they go with Partey and Jorginho there, which I think is obvious what they're going to do, it's basically, I don't think they've got no pace in the middle. I don't know. What do you two think on that?
I think the Jorginho one, he's a very, obviously, tactically and technician-wise, a very good midfielder, but I think it gives us the onus to get on the ball first, because I think we've got the more legs in there. Obviously, what we do with the ball is slightly different. But I don't really care what Arsenal come out with, to be fair. It's all about what we do. So they could put their best 11, their worst 11, a bit of in between. It don't really matter. It depends what we do. I want to see us. And again, this has come back to my point about the most important comment I want to make today is I want to see our players come out there with the aggression. It's a derby that means everything to the fans. I don't want to see red cards, but I do want to see in the first 15, 20 minutes some of our players going through some of their players. I don't want all this nicey. This means a lot. But their team, obviously, without Rice and Odegaard, they've missing the person that gets them up the pitch with the ball, i.e. Rice, and they miss the player in the final third that threads that pass through in terms of Odegaard. So we have to take advantage of that, and there is no excuses. I'm fed up of seeing on social media after Tottenham games going, we know we let the fans down. We will do better. Back to the training ground. We'll do better next time. I don't want to see that. I want to see that first 15, 20 minutes, the aggression to go out there. This game means everything to the fans, and I want to see that from our team. So it doesn't really matter what they do, but if we are going to go by what they do, if they play Kai Havertz up top, a very dangerous player, but I think physically, I think we should have him covered with maybe not so much Romero, as such, but if we've got Dragusin in there, I don't think that's actually a bad thing, because I think Dragusin's probably out of the three centre-backs we've got the most suited to deal with Havertz. But I agree with you wholeheartedly, Dan. Their biggest threat is down the wings. When we've pushed up, we've done this analysis the last time we played them last season. That ball over the top or the switch behind the fullback is going to be absolutely key in how we deal with that. Van de Ven, whether he's there or not, it's still going to be a threat. So they've got a great squad, Arsenal. As much as I hate saying it, they've got a great squad. I think they're just missing.
It is what it is, isn't it? It is what it is.
Yeah. They're missing an out-and-out striker, I think. But I don't think they play in a way that needs an out-and-out striker either. So they're going to be a threat from every angle. But you are right. That threat in behind our fullbacks on their wings, because I think their wingers are really, really good. And our fullbacks, it doesn't matter how good they are if they're being told to go up that pitch and stay high up that pitch. So that's going to be, I think, where the game's lost for us. But we will lose the game in that first 15 minutes if we don't go out there, be aggressive, get hold of the ball and start dominating it. Because as I say, go back to the Jorginho comment in the middle. If we can keep him off the ball, then we've got a good chance of stopping him from source. And I do believe we'll have more possession with them. It's just whether we put the ball in the back of the net, and that's a big concern for me because we're also lacking an out-and-out goal scorer. So it's a fascinating game. I think the neutrals are going to love it this week. I think it could be a 4-3. I really do. I think it's going to be a great, entertaining game of football with lots of quality, but lots of mistakes as well. So, yeah, bring it on.
Okay. Just want to say a big thanks to Peter. Much appreciated, mate. And anyone who gets the 5 memberships, do say thank you to him. Thanks a lot. It is much appreciated. I mean, D-Tricks. So, to wrap this up in a minute with what Dave just said, how do you look on that?
I think what he's saying is a fair point. I would love to see Spurs going at it from minute 1 to at least like minute 30, but Spurs, they're used to having patches during the game. And honestly, it's true, whatever team they play, we should be at least matching them like intensity and not giving them the space and always pressuring them. That's what I want to see. Just a bit of aggression and a bit of that game means a lot to the fans. So just show it that you actually care.
Yeah.
And don't do the same thing that you did against Newcastle and Leicester.
Yeah, well, just try and do everything but what you did there. It's basically the thing that pissed me off most with the Newcastle one is the amount of chance. I know this is going to sound strange, but the amount of chances we had to create chances, but didn't make no chances from those chances. Did any of that just make sense?
Yeah.
Sort of thing. We had plenty of chances to create chances, but we just didn't create those chances to go to the next stage with what we had. Again, that's why I just don't dig this tic-tac, ticky-tacky football sort of thing. I'm really not too keen on it. But that is personal opinion. So the last bit I go to before I get dragged out of the room. Full-time score. Daytrix?
3-1 Arsenal.
Have to be a bitch, don't you? But, yeah. Dave?
No, I'm being honest. 3-1.
Of course you're being honest. I know that. Still bitchy, though.
I can see a 4-3 and
Cool.
Spurs 3.
You can see a 4-3.
Yeah, I can see it going either way, but I'm going to obviously go with Spurs. But yeah, 4-3. I think it's a high scoring game. Wouldn't be surprised if it's a 3-3 draw, for example, but I'm going to go 4-3 Spurs.
If it's a 4-3, Dan is going to have the biggest heart attack.
I'm going to go with a 2-2 because I do see a draw out of this because both teams, I think, are going to be a bit nervous. No, I'm not lying to myself here. I'm speaking from the heart and the head here. I'm just being realistic here. And I do think both teams are going to be nervous going into this a bit because they are both... Basically, I think both teams' season could actually depend a hell of a lot on this game. And like I said, for it to be the 4th game of the season and so much depend on it is just absolutely crazy. But I don't think we're going to get spanked 4-1. Because I don't think we're going to get caught out. 2-2 is what I'm going to go with because I think that's realistic. I think we can both score goals and we're more than capable of conceding. Their defence is the most scary bit at the moment of actually trying to break that down. But yeah, I agree with what's just said here by Andreas. Arsenal need the points more to keep pushing than City. It's not so much the points. We need more obviously the points come into it, but I think it's more the mentality side of us winning that we almost need more than the points, if that makes any sense. This is more of a mentality game for us. Because if we go and get cooked here, fans are going to start turning and probably players' heads are going to be right on the floor. And then our whole season can just totally go to shit from this. So I'm going to go with 2-2 on that one. And I'm going to have to leave it there because I've got some dinner coming up as well because I'm bloody hungry. I mean, Dave, I'm sure we're going to catch you on here again soon. hopefully.
Yeah, I just want to say, actually, obviously, thank you to everyone on the chat, but just a special mention to the Arsenal fans. Normally, there's stupid idiots on there, but it's actually been quite a respectful bit of back and forth between both the Spurs and Arsenal lot on here tonight. So that's been good to see.
No, but that's one thing we do get on here is quite a few of the ones who come on here regular, like Vindaloo and a couple of others, and that they're always civil, basically, and realistic. I mean, they know Arsenal better or whatever, but they don't come in here for the fight. They come on here to actually talk about the football, and then obviously have a slight dig here and there. But who wouldn't?
Yeah,
So,
that's what we encourage.
Yeah. So Dietrich, any idea where you're going to be next, or just go with the flow?
No, I'll just go with the flow, and I'll probably be on the Most to Mass Reaction on Sunday night.
Yep, and that's where I'll catch you on there as well.
If we lose, it's gonna be chaos. It's gonna be hilarious. So and I know Dan is gonna have a lot to say like that night.
We'll leave that one till it comes to it, and then just want to say a big thanks again to Pete. It's much appreciated, and I'm pretty sure everyone else said thank you. And thanks everyone for watching. Hope everyone has a good night, and let's hope we can smash those bastards at Arsenal and do ourselves a favour and end their season for them. Right, everyone, have a good night. Thank yourselves. See you later on.
I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down. Give it to me like